Hey besties, welcome or welcome back.
Today I've got 60 spring DIYs for you to get inspired and ready for nice weather again. I can't wait. Watering can that's on a piece of twine to hang from the Dollar Tree. I think it's so cute. And then I've got this packet of stickers, and they say some really cool things, and I just love them. They've had so many cute stickers like this, kind of 3D. I'm going to use the one in the top left corner that says Our Family Rules. I'm just going to cut it out. And then it's got that piece of foam on the back, like a foam tape, and I'm going to let it be there. I'm not going to take this one off. I'm just going to position it right in the middle of the watering can. I'm going to get rid of the hanger for the moment just so that I can work with the glue and everything without messing it up. Then I'm going to take some faux flowers and I'm going to pick the ones I like. And I've got these peonies from Amazon. They're in my Amazon store and they're my favorites. If you're interested, you should go check them out. Great price too. And then I've got this really pretty yellow flower. I think it's a dahlia from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to cut off the little pieces at the end so they don't stick out. And then I'm going to hot glue the leaves right back on. And once those are glued on, I'll be able to glue the whole thing onto the watering can. I just don't want it to be too raised up. It's already three-dimensional, obviously, as it is. So now I'm going to get that hot glue all over there, and I'm just going to put this on the smaller of the two flowers because I want to bring this to life and make it more, like I said, 3D. And then this gorgeous, oh my gosh, this gorgeous peony. I'm going to take off the leaves. I'm going to glue these separately because it didn't want to stay as easily. So I'll just hold those leaves down, and then I will add the peony right to the center of it. I do add a couple more leaves and a couple more little floral pieces that came with the peonies just to add a little more texture and dimension. And I love the combination of all these flowers together. I just think it's so cheery, so spring. And then you've got the metal, watering can. I love the combination. I just think it's so bright and fresh. I know some people would put the things that are going to go underneath on first, but I like to see the main pieces and then build around them. So I don't mind scooting them off to the side just to fit something in. But I feel like you can tell how full it's going to be. If I build on top of each other, it looks almost too, perfect. I kind of like the way it looks like it's just kind of growing naturally into each other. Anyway, that's just my way of looking at it. I like that look. Let me know how you like to put flowers on. If you have a way that you do it, or you just put them on and don't worry about it. Whatever way is fine because we all need to do things the way it suits us best. I put the hanger back and that's it. This one's done. This is probably my favorite or second favorite between. I love this one too. Maybe it's a tie. Let me know what you think.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know?
I got this Thankful Dollar Tree sticker. Actually, I don't end up using it, but you'll see what I do. And this really gorgeous wooden watering can with the little wood cutouts. I am going to use my heat tool and just heat that up and use a little spatula and take them off. I get off as much as I can, and then I just go ahead and sand it. Sometimes they come off so easy and not other times. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum Linen White chalk paint, and I'm just going to paint that base of the watering can and a little bit around the flowers. And then I'm going to use several different folk art, apple barrel type colors. Got a turquoise and a pink, and then I'm going to use a yellow. I'm just going to start painting the flowers, just different colors. I want them to be really bright and vibrant, and then this beautiful bright green for the leaves. I've also got a sage by the Home Decor line of plaid. I'm going to do that one other leaf there. And then I've got these little paints that came from a little wood kit that I got, and I never used them, but I saved them. So I thought, I'll just use those. And there are my flowers. And now I'm going to create a faux galvanized look using the steel chalk paint, the black paint, and then this brushed metal silver. And I'm just going to start dabbing. So I'll put a little on the brush, dab it off on the paper, and then dab it all over the watering can. You've probably seen me do this before on my channel. I love this effect. And now I'm putting some black on. And I did get a little heavy-handed with the black, but no problem because I can just take the brushed silver and go over it. Or if I wanted to add a little more white back, I could do that. But I'm really happy with the way it looked. I really, really love this. So easy to do. Then I just took a baby wipe and I wiped off anything that got on the flowers. I've got these little round pop-up stickers and I'm going to put one in the center of each of the 3 flowers on the bottom. It was really too small to put on the larger flower. So what I did was I found this little sunflower sticker from the Dollar Tree, and I cut it out and I put it in the center, and I thought that looked really cute. It almost makes the whole thing look like a sunflower, and like that's the center. Got this really beautiful 3D grateful, thankful, blessed kind of a wreath looking thing from the Dollar Tree. I've used them before, and I'm just going to put Mod Podge down over the entire thing. And then I'm going to place that little 3D sticker kind of wreath looking thing right in the center. It's so pretty. I'm going to put the Mod Podge over that as well. That way I can make sure it's going to stay, and it's just going to look like the rest of it in that regard. This was such an easy project to do. You could paint the flowers any color you want. You could paint the watering can any color that you want. Then I'm going to add the little twine back that it came with, and that's it. So easy, so cute, and ready for spring. What do you think about this one?
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here?
The Dollar Tree, they're kind of 3D, and some of them have words and some look like wreaths, and I've got this little hinged house with a plaque next to it. I'm going to take my screwdriver and I'm going to take the hinges off, and then I'm going to turn it over because I'm actually going to use the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I took about 2-3 coats on both pieces, and then I'm going to sand down very lightly just to have a nice smooth surface. On the house, I'm going to take this little home sticker. I'm going to take the foam tape off the back, and I'm going to put some Mod Podge down and then lay that down. It's still 3D even without that foam piece in the back. The little wreath on the front is just slightly lifted up, and I'll lay a little bit of Mod Podge over that as well. I think that's just really pretty. This one's going to be pretty neutral. Then I've got this sticker, Our Family's Gathering Place, and on the bottom it says sit long, talk much, and laugh often. And I'm going to cut those out into little pieces, including the little separator kind of things. I'm going to position them on the little square plaque, and then I'll take off the backing and place them on there. And I just think that this looks really cute. Very simple, not too bright or colorful. Like I said, I'm going to keep this one on the neutral side. That way it could be used all year round. I'm going to cover those stickers with Mod Podge. I'm going to take my Burnt Umber paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm just going to paint around all the edges of both of the house and the plaque. I've got this little plant from IKEA, and I always just pick little pieces out of it and I use it for little greenery. And then I've got this moss that looks like it's on a piece of burlap. I'm going to cut a rectangle out. I'm just going to hot glue it to the very bottom of the little square plaque. Once that's on there, I'm going to take some little pieces from that other plant from IKEA. I'm just going to hot glue them in place so it looks like there's little plants growing out of that grass. Then I've got these other cute little plant things. I think they came from maybe Target, from the Dollar Spot, on another little greenery piece. And I'm just going to put a couple little and just add a little dimension to it. Then I'm going to take that house and I'm going to use some E6000 and hot glue, and I'm going to attach it right at the top on top of the square plaque. Kind of want that layered look. And once this is on there, I'm going to take some craft paper and cover the back so you don't see what used to be there. I like to finish my signs whenever they look like they need to be finished. And I'm just going to add a little hanger made out of twine. It was so easy, and it's just so neutral, and I think it would go anywhere. I think it just looked great, and I love it. And I hope you do too. I think this one might be my favorite today. You'll have to let me know if you think so too.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop.
I am in love with this gift bag, no pun intended. It is so pretty, and this is going to be the easiest DIY. I've got this $5 breakfast in bed tray from the Target Dollar Spot. I bought it a while back, and I just wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. And then I saw this gift bag, and I knew what I was going to do with it. This is incredibly easy. I'm literally going to cut off the front side of the bag, and of course I removed the handles and that kind of stuff. And once I get it cut out, I am going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to go around and fussy cut out the design. This is actually the only part that really takes much time. And you know what? Put on a video or some good music, whatever, and just kind of go to town and just be real careful, go slow. And I'll just get everything that I don't want in this project to just be cut right out. And it's actually a very easy thing to do. Just have a cutting mat underneath you when you do it. And there it is, all cut out, the magic of editing. So I'm just going to place it on top of the breakfast in bed tray and see how it's going to look. And I'm going to use my Jot glue stick from the Dollar Tree. I only wish I had the one that was purple. I think that would be Elmer's, because it's easier to see where you've already put the glue. And when you have a bigger piece like this, it's hard. You have to kind of hold it up to the light to try to see it. So anyway, I think I'm going to, once I run out of these glue sticks, I'm going to get the purple ones. Now I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut in each of those slats, or the seams of the slats, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of dig out the pieces of the gift bag so that you can see them. And that way it just looks more planked. And again, it took a little bit, but you just go slow. Make sure your glue is dry. I'm going to take some white Waverly wax. First, I'm going to go in on those plank seams. And then I'll lightly brush over the entire thing. Just kind of makes it look like it's all one design, if you will. We're almost done. That's how easy this is. I'm going to add some Mod Podge on top, and I love it. Let me know what you think. Talk about a cute, festive gift bag. I loved this one, and it was really for a baby. It says welcome little one, but we're just going to use the welcome and that really pretty rainbow. I'm going to remove the handles and any stickers on there. And then I've got this wood round from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use the back side of it. I'm going to cut out that front piece of the gift bag again. And I'm just going to take the little hanger off and use my heat tool from Amazon to remove the label. It works so well for that. And I'm in a position where I want the rainbow to be. And then I will take my Aleene's tacky glue and I'm just going to hold it in place and start putting glue on there. And this is so easy. I can't believe how easy this one is. I finally got a new brayer. Yay. So now I can use it when I'm doing any kind of Mod Podge or anything like that. And now I'm just going to lift up the rest of it. I like doing this in sections. That way you don't have to worry about glue getting on anything and drying and just anything like that. And I use the brayer again. I'm going to take this awesome box cutter that I got on Amazon that has a really nice grip handle. And I'm just going to go around and cut off the excess of the gift bag. I'm going to use my heat tool to remove that little bow on the back of the sign. And then I'm going to poke through the holes because I'm going to be putting craft paper on the back and I don't want to lose sight of them. I am going to put the word welcome down below, and I'm going to use this gorgeous ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's very spring, kind of Easter looking. I love that plaid with the different colors. And I'm just going to put some hot glue and lay it down right at the seam. It didn't quite match up. I would have been left with a little gap. So that's why I decided to do this. Then I'm going to put the Aleene's tacky glue underneath and add the word welcome. I'm going to cut off the big pieces of the excess, and then I'm going to glue on the rest of it because I had just done that one section so it wouldn't move around. And of course I will use my brayer again. Now that I have it back, I'm so excited. I'm going to take my box cutter and go around and get the rest of that excess off. Now I've taken some little pieces of greenery and made a little swag with them. And then I've also got these little flowers from the Dollar Tree, and I've got jute cord. I'm just going to tie it right around the center, and that'll give me something to put the glue on and actually would also hold them all together. I'm going to add one more flower right to the center so you can't see the jute. And then I'm going to hot glue it right to the very top of this gorgeous round sign. I guess it's going to be a door hanger. There's the craft paper I'm going to use on the back. I'm going to do Mod Podge all over the top. And I'm going to take this mop head and I'm going to put strands of it around the whole thing. And I think this one just came out so festive. Let me know what you think. This gift bag is gorgeous. It says to have and to hold, and I love the farmhouse look. So I've got this huge wood round from Home Depot. I think it was about $7 or $8. It's very thick and heavy, but this is going to be a really substantial sign, and I cannot wait to put it up in my house. Just have to find the wall space. I'm having a little issue with that. There's no wall space. Anyway, I'm going to cut out the front of this gift bag, and gosh, I can't tell you how beautiful this is, and it looks so high-end when it's all done. I'm going to figure out exactly how much of it I want to use and get rid of the part with the little holes where the handle was. And then I'm going to kind of measure to find exactly the placement where I want to put it. And I'm going to grab some masking tape. I'm going to tape off part of the top and a part of the bottom because I want to use my white Waverly wax and just do those two outside parts and around the edges in that color, because a lot of the stuff in my house is kind of off-white. So I thought this would be a really nice way to make it coordinate. And with the Waverly white wax, you can do it just like you do the regular antique wax. And that is, you put it on, you can either leave it or you can wipe off the excess. I chose to wipe off the excess, so it kind of give it more of a whitewash type of a look, but it's really pretty. You can still see the wood grain through it, so I really like that. And now that it's all done, you can see here where the difference is. So the middle is the natural wood, and then you see the two ends. Then I'm going to take my sign, if you will, my gift bag, and I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to do some more glue stick and just get that on there. Again, wish I had the purple one for this, but then it gets on there one way or another. I just would have liked to be able to see it. And then I'm just going to use my brayer and put it down, and gosh, this is gorgeous. I am in love with this. How easy is this? Seriously. And look how high-end it's looking. Once I get it on, I'm going to take a sanding sponge and I'm just going to go around the sides and get rid of the excess. Now, I did use the X-Acto knife to get the big pieces off, but I want a nice clean edge. So when I'm done, it's perfect. I love the way it looks. I'm going to put 2 heavy-duty screws on the back and some wire for a hanger, and that part is done now. The only other thing I'm going to do is I've got a magnolia wreath from Five Below. It was like $5.55, and I'm going to place that around it, and when I hang it up, that's how I'll do it. And I think this turned out gorgeous. It looks so expensive. And it was a gift bag from the Dollar Tree. I mean, seriously, I cannot get over this one. It's one of my favorites for sure in this video. Let me know if it's yours. So for this gift bag hack, I thought I would really think out of the box. I've got this candle holder from the Dollar Tree, and look at these cute little gift bags. They have like a texture on them, and I thought that would be really cool to put on something and then paint over it and you'd see that texture. So I'm going to cut out the part that has the texture on it, which is basically everything but the very bottom of the bag. And I only needed 1 bag for this, but it did come with 3, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to figure out how I need to cut this so that it will because obviously it's more narrow on the bottom than it is on the top of that kind of cylinder thing. So I decided if I cut it like kind of in a triangle with a wide little top, then I could put that towards the bottom and glue it on. And then I'll just cut pieces just like that, using that as a template, and then I'll just glue them on. So I used my Aleene's tacky glue for the big parts, but when it was all done and we got to the seams, they wouldn't lay down. So I had to use a little bit of hot glue and then just carefully wipe it off if it snuck out of that little area. But just, a little tip, that was an issue because you need it to dry pretty fast or else it starts lifting. I mean, the bag is kind of thicker than regular paper. So here you see, I'm adding my first piece. I started with that Aleene's tacky glue on the bottom, and then I fold it back and get the rest of that piece, and I'll just kind of wipe the glue so it, it's more spread around evenly. But as I added the other ones, I did have some seam issues. So there I am adding the glue at any part that had a little seam to make sure it was secure. And then I snipped off around I guess that's going to be our bottom now, any excess. And then I've got these little pop-up dots that I'd already painted white from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to place them all the way around the very bottom. You'll see me doing that here in a second. And I'm going to just put them all the way around. Once they're on there, I'm going to take my white Rust-Oleum, linen white chalk paint. I'm going to paint the whole thing so you can see the texture and over those little pop-up stickers. And then I'm going to distress it a little with my white Waverly wax because, again, I wanted it to be just slightly off white. And then I wasn't satisfied. First I left it like this and I just wasn't happy. So I've got this metal ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take a piece of it and I'm going to wrap it around what is now the top where I'm going to have the candle sitting. So see, there it is. And I'm just going to hot glue it around, And that's it. And now I'm happy with it. I think it just needed a little extra something. So I love it, and it was really, like I said, thinking out of the box on this one. You have to let me know, what would you have done with that gift bag? I just thought it was so cool with the texture. I had to turn it into something really cool. Let me know what you think. Napkins with these leaves on them. They are 3-ply, and I've got this little sign from the Dollar Tree, and these are peonies from the Dollar Tree and one from Amazon. The Amazon ones are gorgeous. I'm going to put some tape on the back of my napkin to remove the ply. It makes it come off very easy. And then this is the 3rd ply coming off. And then I'm going to go around with a spatula and try to get this paper off the front. I thought I was doing such a good job, and I peeled it off and it wasn't off. So I sprayed it down with some water and got it off. And I used this staple remover that I got on Amazon. It's got to be the most heavy duty, best staple remover I've ever used. Anyway, and then I'm going to pull off the sign, and you see it was like halfway on the sign, and I'm going to move it up to the top. I put the arrows there. That way there's less of the stick showing. I'm going to add a hanger on the back with some hot glue and some masking tape, and I'm going to paint it with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. Then I'm going to place the napkin right where I want it, and in sections I'm going to lay down a thin coat of Mod Podge and very carefully spread the napkin out on top of the wood. And just trying to avoid bubbles and wrinkles. I don't mind a little bit. And I'm going to put Mod Podge over the whole thing. Now, this is a different way to do it. While it's still wet, you can carefully rip it around the sides. But once it's dry, I went around with a nail file to make sure I got everything off. I'm going to take that gorgeous peony from Amazon, and I'm going to glue it right on. And then I'm going to cut off some of the little petals on the peonies from Dollar Tree because I want them to seem smaller, and I'm going to glue them right next to it and have some leaves there as well. I just think it's beautiful, and the combination of the two is gorgeous. I have this really cool mesh ribbon and a little sheer ribbon that matches, and I'm just going to cut one piece, cinch it in the middle with some twine, and then I'm going to wrap the sheer ribbon around about 5 or 6 times, and then tie that in the middle, and then just kind of pull out the little loops, and it just makes for a cute little bow. I probably should have made it a little bit bigger, but I'm okay with it. Anyway, I'm just going to tie the twine, knot it off, and then I'm going to take that mesh one and cinch it like I mentioned, and then I'm going to attach that to where the stick goes up on that sign, basically putting it upside down. And that's why the top part's going to have the bow. So I'm going to put that on there with some hot glue, and then I'm going to put the bow right in the middle of that with the hot glue as well. And I just think this one came out so pretty. I love it. And that napkin is just gorgeous. I've never seen them before, and it's been a while since I bought it, so I'm not sure if they still have it, but it is just such a beautiful napkin. I love this one, and I hope you guys love it too. This box at Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance it was under $8, and then originally I think it was $39. Beautiful. It's got cane on the side. It's a nice box. It's got a little bit of faux leather for the handle, and then I've got these gorgeous napkins from the Dollar Tree, and I love that pattern around the side, so I'm just going to use that part with some Mod Podge. I'm going to take a piece of tape because it's a 2-ply napkin, and if you put a piece of tape on the back and then pull it apart, it separates the plies so easily. I learned this trick from a channel called Chalk It Up Fancy, and I'll have their link in the description box if you want to check them out. So I sanded the top and the bottom just to make sure there weren't any rough patches. Now I'm going to take my napkin and kind of position it how I would like it to be. And then I'm going to fold back a section, and I'm going to use my Mod Podge, and not heavily, but very lightly. I've misplaced my brayer. I've got to get a new one. So I'm doing this with my hands, so I didn't want it to be too wet, and I'm actually pushing very lightly to get out the wrinkles. I'm okay if there's a little bit. It kind of adds to the charm. And now I'm going to do another section, and then the final section when I add some more napkin to this. And now I'm going to cut away that part where it's just white, and I'm going to cut another piece to fit in there and add some more flowers on there. And it's a busy pattern, so it's not going to look like I piecemealed this. It's just going to connect right into the pattern. And here comes the little piece that I cut. Just going to lay it on there carefully. And like I said, after you get it attached, you don't really notice at all the difference. I'm just going to make sure all the little ends are down. And then I will go ahead and use my brush to kind of flatten it a little bit as I cover the whole top in Mod Podge. And without the brayer handy, that's going to be my best bet. Yeah, there are other ways to do it with saran wrap and also with an iron, but I just chose to go ahead and do it this way. Now I'm going to take a nail file, and in a downward motion, I am just going to take off that excess napkin. Now I've waited till this dried, otherwise you might pull the whole thing off. So once it's dry, you can go around the edge and do that. And look how beautiful and a clean edge it is. I'm going to take my Agave chalk paint by Waverly. It's my favorite Waverly color. And I'm just going to go around the edges. Now I put 6 little felt circles on the bottom, and I put Mod Podge throughout the inside and on the one little piece in the front. And there is my lid, and I'm going to put this back together using a screwdriver to put the pieces back. I really love how this turned out, so pretty. Dollar Tree napkins for the win. Oh my gosh, that flower is so beautiful. I think it's a rose. And these are 2-ply. I just love them. And then I've got this cute little hanging sign with a little hanger on it from Dollar Tree. And it's got a hanger in the back too already. It makes it so easy when that's already done. I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint for this one. But first I'm going to cut out just one of those flowers. That's all I need for this one. This is super, super easy. Then I'm going to take my tape and put it on the back and pull apart the 2 plies and keep the one that I really need. I always use the backing like if I need to wipe my fingers on something. So there you go. I don't waste any of it. I'm going to take a little baby paintbrush and mist it with water, and I'm going to go around the flower, and then I can just rip around it. It looks so much better when you do that instead of cutting. And, you know, it's not a big deal because when it's wet, it just rips so easily. So I do that all around the entire thing. See how it's wet all the way around, just so you can see what I did to it. And there it is, all ripped out. And now I'm going to use my screwdriver and just remove the little hook, because I'm not going to keep what it says on there, obviously. So I'm going to sand it down the best I can. I couldn't get the paper off this one. It didn't matter how hard I tried. So I just sanded it as much as I could. I'm going to do 3 coats of that Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, because otherwise it just wouldn't have covered. But no big deal. It's a small little piece, so there we go. Now I'm going to lightly sand it just so that I have a smooth surface to place that rose on. I'm going to set it where I want it and then just do sections at a time like I always do. Put a light coat of Mod Podge down and then very carefully press that onto the surface going towards the edges with my finger. I promise I'm going to get a new brayer. And I'm just finishing up the other side of the flower. I think this is so pretty. I mean, just one flower, that's all it needed. I just think it's so simple and just beautiful just by itself. I'm going to do a generous coat on top just to make sure it's nice and sealed in. And you might see I have a little leaf hanging over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that hang over. I'll Mod Podge that on as well. And then I'll just take my nail file and just take the excess off the edge there. I thought that was kind of cute. So now I'm just going to put back the little hook, and then the little screws that came with it somehow fell off my desk and I couldn't find them. I even went searching with a magnet, couldn't find them. So I put 2 other screws in, but they were silver, so I'm going to use my European gold rub and buff, and I'm just going to cover that up and then put a little bit on the rest of the hook, and then it just looks like it was always that way. I love this. So cute, so easy. You could hang your keys on it. You could hang a scarf, whatever you want. Just so fun. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to use 34 blocks. Now, some of them have these little cutouts from the back of a calendar from Dollar Tree, and my friend Jamie gave me a bunch of her crafting stash because she's focusing on her Etsy shop, which is Oh Simply Irresistible. She makes the cutest little Disney ears, and I'll have the link down below in my description box in case you want to check it out. Great gift idea. Anyway, each of those little signs are made up of 3 Tumbling Tower blocks and then the little cutout of the calendar glued on. And Jamie actually included those in the stuff she gave me. Now I'm going to take the rest of the blocks and I'm going to put 2 between each one going horizontally, and then 1 between each section going vertically, and then at the top I'll add an extra row, and at the bottom I'll add an extra row. And you'll see that as we get going here, I'm going to start gluing the pieces of 2 together and then position them using the Aleene's tacky glue and the hot glue. So now that I've got all those done, I need to put the 2 on the top together and then the 2 on the bottom together, again going horizontally. You see how I'm doing that right there. Then I need to start adding the pieces that go downward. So I'm just going to glue each piece. The last thing we're going to add are those little pictures. And I'm kind of calling this like an affirmation decor piece because it's very encouraging words that are on those little calendars, and just to make you, feel good and think good things about yourself. So there you go. Now I'm going to paint this whole thing in my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'll do the front and the back. And then I'm going to put hot glue like above and below each one, and then turn them upside down and push it right over the top. That way if any glue oozes out, it shows up on the back, not the front. And that worked out really well. And then I'm going to add a little sawtooth hanger that I ordered on Amazon. I'm going to screw those 2 little screws right in there. And then I'm going to cover it with some matte Mod Podge, the whole thing. Got these cute little pieces of greenery. I think I got those at a thrift store. I'm just going to make like 2 sides that the middles are glued together. And then I'm going to take this dahlia from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to trim off some of the petals in the back to make it smaller. But first I'm going to tie some jute around the center of my little greenery arrangement. And then I will get rid of some of those petals on the dahlia and hot glue the dahlia right to the middle where the twine is wrapped around the greenery. And that's just going to be such a pretty little centerpiece right there at the top. And I just love how this turned out. It's just so encouraging and uplifting. And it's pretty too. I think it's very spring-like. You'll have to let me know what you think. I've used those little pieces on the back of the calendars in the past. I've made little blocks out of them. And I'll link below some videos that I have used them to make those cute little blocks that I put on tiered trays. And I think you'll really like those too. This Tumbling Tower block hack, you're going to need 24 blocks. I'm going to use that tacky glue and hot glue again, and I'm going to make a little wreath, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the way I'm going to create my squares is I'm going to start with the first block, put the glue on it, and then have the second block right next to it. Do you see what I mean? Where the tops meet. Now this next one, it's going to keep going around almost like a chain, and they just kind of fit inside of each other as you go. It's probably easier for you to just see what I'm doing right here. Now we're going to need 5 more of those because there's 6 total that we need, and there they are. Now we're going to glue them together so we have one solid piece. All the pieces will be glued together. We're going to paint it with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I love that look. It's just so clean. Now I'm going to take these pieces of greenery that I ordered on Amazon, and I'm going to take the wire that they were on. I'm just going to round it out and then wrap it around itself to create a circle. It's definitely bendable, so you can do that. It's pretty stiff, so it takes a little bending, but once you get it, and I just wrap that end around just to make sure it's going to stay in place. And since I cut all those little teeny pieces of the greenery off, I'm going to start gluing them around that circle and make a little teeny wreath that will go on this window. I'm just kind of calling it a window. And I think that's going to look so pretty when we do that. And there it is. You can make it as full as you want. And then I'm going to take this very sheer pink ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap it underneath the top of the wreath and pull just enough so that it can hang over the back and it can be hot glued on the back. So it looks like it's just kind of hanging there. Got it in position. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on the back, and I'm just going to bend that right over and dab that in. And both sides automatically go in because it's sheer ribbon. And I'm going to cut off the excess. Now I'm going to add a little bit more glue there because I want to add a little piece of jute just to create a hanger in case I decide I want to hang it up. And then I'll put a little more glue and a little piece of masking tape, and that thing will be there forever. Now, I felt like the wreath was a little plain. First, I'm going to go ahead and secure it to the front so it doesn't move around. But then I just didn't have any little teeny flowers, but I did have some little kind of like sequins. Now, I'm not a sequin glam girl, but I thought that might look pretty if they were just subtle. So I just put 6 of them on there. And, you know, I actually kind of like it. I think it's cute. You'll have to let me know what you think. Do you like the sequins, or what might you have put on if you didn't have any little teeny flowers handy? Let me know. Use 10 corks. I've got this wood ornament that I ordered on Amazon with a whole bunch of them, and then a succulent that came out of a little planter from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take my utility knife and I'm just going to score over and over to get rid of the top of that ornament because I don't need it. And I just couldn't find a circular one that was the right size in my stash. I'm sure I have one though. And now I'm just going to cut off the excess because it didn't make a clean break. No big deal. And then I'm going to take my little sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to sand it off. You're really not going to see too much of that, but I just wanted it to look nice. Now I'm going to take my antique wax by Waverly and I'm going to paint just one side of it. And that's going to actually be the bottom. It's the only part that you will see, you know, when this is all done. Now, once that dries, I'm going to take my corks and I'm going to position them in a circle on top of the little wood round. I'm going to take the hot glue and I'm just going to put the hot glue on the bottom and glue it to kind of the outside edge. So the cork is half on, half off, or maybe a little more than half on. And I glued them all, and there you can see they're all there. And then I'm going to take some Spanish moss that I had, I'm going to stuff that right in the middle, and then I'm going to put the succulent in. And it sits so nicely, you don't even have to glue it. I'm going to take my little felt rounds. I'm going to put 4 on the bottom. I'm going to use hot glue to make sure they stay. And that's it. This could not be easier. Oh my gosh. And it's so cute. You could make it bigger if you wanted to. You could make it smaller, you know, whatever you wanted. I think these little corks are going to be so cute, especially like to do succulents and things like that. I think it's perfect. Let me know what you think. Dollar Tree sticker hack. I've got this adorable little like hanging planter type thing. It was $2 at the thrift store. And then I've got that sticker. I'm going to use the word family and I'm going to use my agave Waverly chalk paint. It's my favorite paint color of all the Waverly ones. And I did a couple coats all around except for deep inside, which you'll never see. And then I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum or linen white paint and I'm going to spray the top of it with my mister and I'm just going to do like a whitewash over the top. I love that combination of the white and the agave. I just think it's such a fresh look. So nice for spring and summer, and I love that look. And I'm just going to keep the texture going one direction on the front and then on that back piece the other direction. I'm going to take off that word family. I'm going to cut them into individual letters. It's so much easier to place it. And then I'll just start in the middle and work my way out. Now that that's all on there, I'm going to take those little bubble stickers. I painted them all white and I'm going to put a row along the bottom and along that top edge there above the word family. And then I'm going to take some elephant chalk paint by Waverly and I'm going to dry brush over the whole thing very lightly, including the words because I want it to look a little bit more worn, but still it's got the bright color, which I really like, even though it's muted down just a little bit. I love the layering of the paint. It just gives it so much more dimension. And then I'm going to take a wet paper towel and wipe off some of the excess over the word. I want to leave some there, but I want to be able to see the word nice and clear. I'm going to put Mod Podge over the entire thing, and then I'm going to put some floral foam on the inside. I decided not to glue it in because I don't think it needs it. The weight of the flowers will hold it nicely. And then I got these gorgeous peonies on Amazon. They are stunning. I'm going to cut some pieces off of those, and I'm just going to stick them right in the floral foam. And literally, that's all there is to this one. It is so beautiful in person. I hope it comes across on the screen, but I absolutely love this one. The colors, I love the pink peonies against that kind of like agave turquoise color. And then I took a little piece of twine, put it through the hole in the back, and just tied for a hanger. And that's all. I love this one. I hope you guys love it too.
And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything.
For this Dollar Tree sticker hack, I've got this little $2 candlestick holder or candle holder that I got at the thrift store, and I'm going to use those bubble stickers and some off-white paint by Amy Howard at Home, and then I'm going to clean it with the crud cutter, of course. And I'm just going to paint this whole thing. It took about 3 coats to really get it the way I wanted, where you didn't see quite as much of the color underneath. And I just love that nice, crisp, beautiful look. I'm going to take those bubble stickers that I painted white, and I'm just going to put them around the bottom, and I'm going to leave a little space between each one because I want it to have like a different look. I don't want it to be like a solid circle of that. And you'll see them all on here in just a second. And I did use the hot glue, of course. See what I mean? And I am going to touch that up and make sure it's really white. Got this little foam ball I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use my putty knife and just slice it right in half. I'm going to hot glue it to the very top of that candle holder. I'm not going to use it as a candle holder. This is going to be a floral arrangement. I think it's just going to be so pretty. I'm going to use some Dollar Tree peonies and some off-white flowers that I also got. I'm not sure what kind they are. I already cut off the tag. And then I've also got this boxwood, or I think it's eucalyptus, from Amazon. And I'm just going to start cutting little pieces and put them all the way around the foam. And then I will add the flowers, and that's it. It's so pretty. Let me know what you think.
And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring.
Take one of the foam core boards, and I'm going to use a mat and my rotary cutter, and then also some chalk paint, and also these gorgeous peonies, I believe, from Dollar Tree, and some other flowers I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to measure 2 inches. I'm going to make wood planks or faux wood planks, measure 2 inches across for each one of them, and then I need them to be 12 inches long. So I'm just going to use the rotary cutter now that I've made the lines, and I'll go over them very carefully a couple times until I get through the foam core. It's actually very easy to cut. There they are. And then I'm just going to space them using a piece of a little tumbling tower block. And then I made a couple as the crossbars. And then I'm going to measure with my square. I want one piece that goes diagonally across. So I'm going to measure that. And there it is. I just cut it out the same way I cut out the rest. And then I'm going to take my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. You can't tell because the pieces are white, but in person it gives it like more of a grain, if you will. I'm just going to hot glue all the pieces together using those spacers. And then I'll also hot glue that little crossbar. You see how I cut that one? It's wider because it's a diagonal. And I'm just going to hot glue that piece right on there and make sure that it's positioned exactly where I want it. So now I'm going to turn over the foam core. I'm going to take a piece of rope, and I'm just going to hot glue it down, and then hot glue a piece of masking tape over the top, and that holds it very secure. This is so light, you guys. And if you notice all the little bends in it, I did kind of bend them carefully because otherwise it kind of bows. It'll like make a curve. And when you do that, it makes it lay flat. And so you can do that at any point that you want. I'm going to take those gorgeous flowers, just going to cut them down with my little snips, and then I'm going to take some elephant paint by Waverly with a rough brush, and I'm just going to super carefully dry brush around all of the edges and sides of things so it looks like it's been outside and it's worn. And then I'm going to take the greenery, and I'm just going to hot glue that right in a couple little places. I'm going to position the flowers, and this is turning out so pretty. It just looks like one of those fence pieces you see where flowers kind of snuck through the little slats, and I am loving it. So cute. And I'm just going to secure some of those stems on the back with hot glue and more of the masking tape. You'll have to let me know if this is something you would like to try. I just think it's beautiful. And when you're done, it actually looks like wood, but it's so light. Let me know what you think.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on.
For this foam core board hack, I'm just going to take a piece. I've got this Dollar Tree little tray, wooden tray, and then I've got this Dollar Tree vinyl, and I've got some scrapbook paper that I'm pretty sure I got at Hobby Lobby. I've got these beautiful flowers that I picked up at Pop Shelf when I was out of town. Unfortunately, we don't have one. So I'm going to take the foam board. I'm just going to use a couple different shaped houses that I have in my decor. I'm just going to trace one of the taller one and two of the smaller ones with the chimney. And I want those to be in opposite directions. That's why I folded it over. I'm going to take my rotary cutter and my mat, and I'm just going to do the same kind of cutting and cut out these little houses. Very easy to do. I'm going to take the tag off of the tray. I'm going to paint it with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, the entire thing. Just one nice coat. Then I'm going to take some scrapbook paper, the green one. I'm going to trace the one large house. I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to put a piece on each side. Since you'll be able to see both sides, I want to make sure that it looks good on both sides. And I'm just going to take a scissors and trim off the edges. You don't want to sand these. The foam board kind of would come apart. Then I've got this other adorable scrapbook paper. I'll do the other house, and then I'm going to use the vinyl from Dollar Tree for one of the houses with the chimney. Cut a piece, and then I start at the bottom. I usually like to reveal a little bit of it and then kind of pull the backing up as I smooth it out, and that works out really well. So now I've got all three of my houses done. I'm going to take the elephant chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm going to distress just very lightly around all of the edges of the little wood tray. Once that's done, I'm going to do a heavier distressing around the little houses because I want the foam core to be covered more with that. And then you can see I let a little bit bleed over, and I think it looks really cute. I've got some floral foam that was just from something, and I cut it up, and I'm just going to hot glue it right to the bottom of the little tray. I'm going to cut up some of those flowers from Pop Shelf and the greenery, and I'm just going to start putting them in just the way that I like it. This is just a matter of what your taste is, your style, whatever you like. And then I'm going to put two of those beautiful white flowers and one of those really pretty coral colored peonies that I have, just to give it a little contrast and tie everything together. I felt like the houses were a little plain, so I took this cute little lace ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make two little bows using the awareness bow method, where you just pinch the center after you make an awareness bow. I'm going to use a little bit of jute twine to tie them right in the middle, and then I'm going to use another burlap lace from Dollar Tree across the middle house, and I love how it turned out. Let me know what you think.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on.
For this foam core board hack, I've got a piece of foam board, got some little rabbits with gingham pattern on them from Dollar Tree, and these really cute green gingham napkins from Pop Shelf. I'm going to measure out what will become 2 tags, and I'm just deciding, what size I want them to be. You could make them any size that you want. Once I have that all mapped out, I'm going to take the rotary cutter. I'm just going to cut those 2 pieces. Now that I have the 2 pieces, I'm going to find my center, and then just a little bit beyond each side of the center, and I'm just going to draw a line that's angled, and that's what's going to create the top of my tags. And I'll do the same thing to both of them, but I'll cut this one first and use it as a template for the second one, so they'll come out the same exact way. These are going to be pretty small tags. I mean, they're not teeny ones, but they're not huge either, and I kind of like this. I don't have a lot of space, and so I need to sometimes do things that aren't quite so large. I'm going to use my Crocodile, which is in my Amazon store, and it is so easy to use, especially like if you have arthritis, this is just a breeze. I'm going to make 2 holes, one at each on the top of the tags. Now I'm going to take this napkin, and it's 2-ply, which means I need to remove one, and I'm just going to use the part that has the gingham pattern with some Mod Podge, and I'll just do it in sections. So I've got it exactly where I want it. I'm going to start putting a little bit, just a light coat of Mod Podge, and just put down that first section, and then I'll peel back the rest and slowly do the rest. I had misplaced my brayer, so I'm just being really careful with my hands and doing this. Normally I like to use my brayer and some saran wrap so that I don't get any wrinkles or bubbles. I did get a little bit, but I'm okay with that. It's actually just so cute, and part of it's going to be covered anyway. I'm only going to do one side because you won't see the back. While it's wet, I'm going to super carefully rip around the edges because I don't want to use sandpaper on this, or I could have just used the scissors and wait till it was dry, but it worked out just fine. Now I'm going to take some scrapbook paper, and I'm just going to cut out the other tag, and I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue and attach it, and then I put some paint around the edges, which I'll show you in a second, and I'm also going to put 2 bunnies on the green gingham one. The ribbons on the bunnies were pink, and I used a purple marker to make them purple so that they would match with the other scrapbook paper, and I did use the fern colored Waverly chalk paint to do the edges and kind of just overlapping a little bit to the front. So just hot gluing those bunnies right on there, and then I'm going to hot glue these 2 together, and I'm going to use a piece of rope as a way to hang it and put the knot in the front, and I think they came out so cute. Let me know what you think.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on. I put my...
For this foam core board hack, I've got my foam core, and I've got 2 of these little skewers from the Dollar Tree and a wooden bunny from the Dollar Tree, the vinyl and scrapbook paper again. And what I'm going to do is take my little bunny, I'm just going to trace one out, and then I'm going to use the curve on the bottom to start an egg shape, and then I'll go at the top with a narrower round and connect the 2 areas. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to cut this out because I need to be able to curve around. So it takes several passes to get it through, but it's really not a big deal. It did not take me more than maybe 30 seconds to a minute at the longest. So I'm going to cut out both pieces, and then I'm going to use scrapbook paper. I'm going to do both sides of this. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of the scrapbook paper, the green one, and I'll cut those out. And then I'm going to take the green scrapbook paper, and I'm going to trace another bunny on the little lavender scrapbook paper. And then once that's done, I'm going to go back in, and about 1/4 of an inch smaller, I'm going to recreate that shape inside and then cut 2 of those out. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be layering some scrapbook paper. Now, my friend Linda from Faith Chick 777's DIY by Design does this really cool technique where she takes a little scissor blade and she roughs up the edges of her scrapbook paper to make it look more distressed. So that's what I'm going to do. You just really slowly go around all the edges with your scissor blade, and literally makes it look so cool. So that's what I'm going to do to all 4 of those pieces. Then I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue and attach the green scrapbook paper to the actual foam core bunny on both sides. And once I do that, I'm going to add the lavender scrapbook paper right over the top of that so you can see the edges of the other scrapbook paper still showing. And I just love that layered look. I think it adds so much dimension and much more interesting to look at. I'm going to do the egg in the vinyl from Dollar Tree. So I just cut a piece that was about the right size, and I'm going to end up doing 2 of those, and I'll just lace them on and slowly pull the backing out, and then I will take my scissors and I will cut all the way around that, and that comes out so cute. And I will do that to both sides. Once they're done, I felt like the edges needed something, so I took these little strands from a mop head from Dollar Tree. I'm going to hot glue them all the way around. I'm going to poke some skewers right into the bottom of each one, which you will see here in just a moment. And they go right in, by the way. Just put your hand there carefully so that you don't pop through the top. Just try to hold it as straight as you can. And then I'm going to take my little nip, and I'm just going to make sure that the bottom is pointy. And you know what? This is awesome. You can stick it in a planter. You can pop it into anything, and it's such a cute little accent. I love it. So easy.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You You put my favorite song on.
I found this wooden carrot at the Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square. I've also got this contact paper from the Dollar Tree and this cute little like bee looking pinwheel flower. Got this cool ribbon. I'm going to cut out a piece of that contact paper that would just fit over the whole carrot, and I'll start at the top, and then I'll slowly pull the backing away from underneath while I'm using my other hand to kind of flatten it out, and that helps to avoid bubbles and wrinkles. I'm going to use my brayer over the top. I get that on Amazon, super good price there. If you're interested, you can check out my Amazon store. And then I'm going to use a nail file to go around the edges and just make very nice clean cut of that paper. I've got that pinwheel flower, and I just took an X-Acto knife and cut out the bee looking fabric or plastic, and I'm going to use this green cool ribbon. I don't know what this ribbon is, but I love it, and I'm going to glue it to this flower petal, and now you see that it looks like it's like greenery. And then I'm going to make 3 of those, and I'm going to take some white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to paint that black stuff white. And now I've got the carrot. I'm going to take some rope from Walmart, and I'm just going to hot glue it all the way around the carrot and all the way around those 3 petals. And that keeps this looking rustic. I'm going to poke a hole back through the 2 holes that were already in the wooden carrot that I can put a hanger. And then I'm going to hot glue to the back with the white side facing front those 3 petals. And now they have become greenery on the carrot. Now I've just added some extra hot glue on the back and a piece of masking tape. I'm going to take this greenery that I also got on Amazon, and then I've got a ribbon made out of green burlap, and I'm just going to measure how long I want it to be, and I'm going to fold it over like 6 times and cut it. And then I'm going to fold the whole thing in half, and I'm going to cut a little slit on each side, and then I'm going to take some jute and tie the middle in a very tight knot, and then I'll trim off the excess jute. And now what I'm going to do is just pull out each of those little loops and kind of fluff my ribbon. And that's just a super, super easy way to make a ribbon. For the tail, I'm just going to measure out a piece that's long enough, and I'm going to cut it, I'm going to fold it in half, and then dovetail the ends. And then I'm going to hot glue the ribbon on top of right where the greenery meets the carrot. And I'm going to fold that tail and put it underneath with hot glue. And then I'm going to make a little banner looking fold down the tail. I'm going to do the same thing with a couple other ribbons that I use to do smaller versions of that same ribbon. And then I made 2 shoestring bows with these cute little ribbons I had. And I just hot glue them right to the center. Now I'm going to kind of trim that little greenery just to make little wispy pieces, hot glue them all the way around that top greenery. And I love how this turned out. It is such an adorable Easter spring carrot. I love it. Let me know what you think. I have this orange burlap from Dollar Tree, and I've also got this orange yarn from Dollar Tree. And then I have these really cool pics that I got off Amazon, some paper towel roll inserts. And I'm going to cut the paper towels like to a point at the end, but I'm going to keep them, round. And I'm going to do 2 of the large ones, and then I'm going to take the pieces I cut off and make 2 smaller pieces with those. So I'm going to take the burlap, and I'm going to start gluing it around and kind of pulling it tight as it gets to the bottom to a point, and I'm going to make little carrots with these, and they're just going to look so cute and natural looking. So with the littler ones though, I'm going to use the yarn. So I'll make 3 with the burlap, 3 of these little ones with the yarn. So first glue the top together with some hot glue, and then it leaves that little point, and I'll just start wrapping the yarn. Now this takes a little bit longer because obviously it's yarn, but I didn't put the glue everywhere. I just wrapped around maybe every 5-10 times, and then I added a drop of glue, went all the way to the bottom, and if I found when I got to the bottom, if there were like any spaces that weren't covered, I just randomly wrapped around and then got to those spots, put a little hot glue and filled them in. And that way it wasn't like perfectly wrapped. It looked a little bit more uneven, if you will. And I wanted that. On the ones made out of burlap, I'm going to take some yarn and just kind of wrap it around with a lot of space between them. What I'm trying to do is tie the 2 carrots together. So I'll just go all the way around and down to the end, glue it and snip. I'll do that for all 3 of the larger carrots. And then when I get to the small carrots, I'm going to pull off a little bit of that burlap, and I'm going to do the same thing with it that I did to the large carrots, and I'll do that to the small ones and just kind of wrap it around with spaces. And I did that to all 3 of the little ones. So now my carrots are done. I'm going to take my greenery picks from Amazon, and I'm just going to cut where I think I need to for the little ones, and then I'll be able to use most of a large one for the bigger carrots. I just need to cut the ends off a little bit with my snips. And you'll see I just stick it right in that opening at the top from the paper towel holder. And look at that. They look so cute. And then, like I said, I'll put the bigger pieces into the larger carrots. I love how this turned out. Talk about some rustic, adorable little carrots. So easy to make, barely cost anything, and they are the cutest. For this next DIY, I've got my old container from some French fried onion that's probably around Thanksgiving time. Got some craft sticks, the medium size. I'm going to use my miter shears, and I'm going to first take the craft sticks and see how long I need them to be to go all the way around this container, and then I will use the first one that I cut and draw lines on the rest of them, and then use my miter shears to cut them all down. I'm going to hot glue in like 3 spots, and I'm just going to start lining them, and I'll use the curved side at the top. And it's going to look like a little crate at the end. That's my goal here. And when I got to the very end on the side there, I had to cut a little bit of smaller piece, narrow down the popsicle stick, and that was fine. And then I'm going to take 2 smaller ones of like the traditional popsicle stick size, and I'm going to cut off the 2 ends with scissors. I just want you to see that you could do that without fancy tools. And then I'm going to paint the whole crate and the little 4 cross pieces with the Stolian Linen White chalk paint. Now, once that's all done, I'm going to take a little foam brush and I'm going to dry brush some antique wax from Waverly. I'm just going to put some on my brush, wipe most of it off, barely dab around the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to put very lightly go on each of the little spaces, like right where they touch, and then on the 4 crossbars. I just want this to look like a dirty old crate. I'm going to hot glue those little side pieces on the front and the back. This is such an easy way to make a little crate. And also this way I don't have to worry about it caving in on itself. I can just do it with hot glue, and because that container's in there to hold it together. So I'm going to take a little piece of a drop cloth. I cut it into like a rectangle, and I've got a brown dot marker from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to write carrots 5 cents on there. And it's hard to write on drop cloth, so you just take your time. I used the fine end of this to do the actual letters, and then I went back with the other end of the pen, which is broader, and that way I could fill it in a little bit more. And you don't have to have fancy writing for this. This actually looks better when you don't. So I wasn't trying to be perfect. And there you see I filled them in a little. And then there's where I'm going to do the 5 cents. The key here is not to press too hard. Now I'm going to distress around the edges the same way that I did on that little crate, but just around the edges. And then I'm going to fray a little bit of the edges too. And I'm just going to use my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, and I'm going to attach it right to my little crate. This is such a cute little rustic container, and we'll be able to put little carrots in there, so that is going to be fun. I'm going to put a plastic bag inside so I don't have to fill the whole thing with my moss, but I will fill the top of it with the moss. And that's it. Talk about an easy, cute DIY. I love this DIY. I've got a frame from the Dollar Tree, just a little 4x6. I've got some more of that orange burlap. I've got a buffalo check ribbon, some scrapbook paper, and a really cute metal button. So I'm going to take the inside out of the frame. I already removed the glass because I don't need it. And I'm just going to take that inside paper and draw on the back of the scrapbook paper so I can trace that exact size that I need, and then I will cut that out. I try to make my lines on the back of scrapbook paper so I don't have to worry about cutting them off. And now I'm just going to stick it right in there. I didn't even glue it. I'm going to take a little teeny piece of my drop cloth, and I'm going to act like I'm staining it with the linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. I want to basically like whitewash it. So I'm just putting a very little bit on my cloth and wiping it around, and I do the same thing on the back and the sides. Now I'm going to cut the orange burlap into the shape of a carrot. So basically it's like a triangle. And I'm going to, trim it down so it will fit. And then I'm going to distress it with the antique wax. Just put a little bit, on my cloth and just kind of dirty it up. I'm going to take a little piece of the buffalo check ribbon. I've already kind of measured it against that picture frame. And I'm just going to glue the two ends together and make like a loop. I'm going to pinch in the middle and then hot glue in the middle so that it stays. This is going to create like a little middle section. I'm going to put some hot glue in there, and that's where I'm going to put the button. And I'm going to just kind of fluff my little bow and just get that button right in there where that little piece that juts out on the back of it is. And that's where it's going to sit. Isn't that cute? And then I'm going to take my Beacon fabric tack glue and I'm just going to put the glue underneath the little burlap carrot. And then I'm going to take greenery and I'm just going to hot glue pieces coming out of the top of the carrot. And I'm going to make it kind of full. I really want this to be very three-dimensional. I'm going to hot glue the bow on. And then I thought, I feel like it needs more. I could have stopped right here. So I added a little bit of that white paint to the button and then wiped off most of it just to kind of give it that same whitewash. And then I got out my rub and buff, which I love that stuff. And I put a little bit on the bow. And then I decided to also put it on the frame because I feel like it just gave it a little more character. So I didn't put very much at all. And you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. I love how this turned out. And then I decided to make the greenery just a teeny bit dirty because I thought if the carrot's dirty, definitely the greenery would be. I hope you love this one. I thought it was super easy and fun. Adorable little flower bucket. And then I've got some flowers. I think they're dahlias. And look at this little earmuff with the bunnies. I had a great idea for that. We're going to use that. And then I've also got these little styrofoam balls that I'm going to cut in half and use for this craft. I started using my X-Acto knife, and then I actually ended up getting a really small ruler and just like slicing it right down the middle. I'm going to put some hot glue on the flatter side of it and stick one half in the bucket, and then I cut another one in half. I'm going to put the rounded side on that one and put that on top of it. I'm going to snip the dahlias a little bit smaller, and then I'll just stick them into the styrofoam. And I did realize that the little styrofoam is still kind of moving, so I take a plastic bag and I just like stuff it in all around that circular piece, and that actually fixes the whole thing. And you can't see it. I just pushed it way down in there. It's amazing what you can do with plastic bags, and we all have so many, don't we? I end up using 5 of those dahlias. And then I've got this, I think this is boxwood. I always get boxwood and eucalyptus mixed up, so somebody tell me please in the comments. But I cut up 3 pieces and I just kind of put them in there, and I think they're beautiful. I'm going to take the little ear muffs and I'm going to use my tin snips, and I've got those in my Amazon store if you're interested. They really are nice for cutting through like thicker things. And then I'll just snip off any pointy edges. I'm going to cut a little piece of the fur on the face side because I'm not going to use the face side. And I'm going to hot glue that right to that opening that I created when I cut off the headband part. And now you can't even tell that it was ever part of a headband. I've got a cute little white pom-pom. And I've got these little teeny ones, the pink ones I'm going to use. And I'm going to make the back side of the bunny so it's like his little butt with the tail and then his little paws. And I've got a skewer stick. I'm going to stab it right in there and then stick this right into the styrofoam. And it looks like a bunny just dove in. You guys, isn't this cute? And so easy. Let me know what you think. For this whimsical DIY, I'm going to take some scrap fabric I had, a piece from a dish towel, and a scarf from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got this cardboard I had laying around, and I'm going to draw what looks like an egg, and I'm going to make it look better, and then I'll cut it out, and then I'll use it to trace another one, and then I'm going to make a bigger one, so I'll have 2 small ones and 1 large one. There's a bend in the larger one, so I'm going to put 2 pieces of cardboard on the back with some hot glue just to keep it from bending. Now I'm going to cut out the fabric with enough to wrap around the sides if I need, and I've got some polyfill. And I'm going to hot glue it to the front of all 3 eggs. You can just see I'm not putting like a lot. I just want it to be slightly raised. Then I'm going to take, in this case, the piece from the scarf from Dollar Tree. I'm going to wrap it around. And I'm going to hot glue it all the way around the back and just kind of pull it tight so that it looks from the front like a plush kind of a thing, even though the back will just be the cardboard. And there it is. And that's my large egg. I'm going to do the same thing with the 2 smaller ones. Aren't they cute? And then I'm going to take some craft paper and hot glue it to the back and trim it. And that will be the way I finish them off. I'm also going to take this, it's like this kind of plastic poly rope you can get at the automotive section at Dollar Tree, with my Beacon Fabric Tack glue. And I'm just going to hot glue that on to each of the eggs, like making a smile for the mouth. Now that I've got all 3, I'm going to take some felt. I wish I had white, but I didn't. So I cut them into the shape of eyes. I put it on some tape, and then I just painted it with my white acrylic paint, and that worked. And then I'm going to take the cardboard again, and I've got my crocodile. It makes a really nice large hole. I'm going to punch out 6 of those, and I'm going to color them black with my marker, and then hot glue them right on. And that'll be like the pupils of the eyes. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to make sure that the eyes are glued together really well. Just putting a teeny bit of glue and then putting on those little baby eyeballs. Then I'm going to take them and I'm going to hot glue them to each of the eggs. And this is just turning out to be so whimsical and so cute. I saw this somewhere on Pinterest. They were like egg sisters or whatever. I thought they were adorable. I've got this cute plaid ribbon for Easter, and I'm just going to dovetail the ends. And I'm going to attach them to the very top of each egg, but I'll twist the middle so it looks like it has a little center point there. And then I'll hot glue it on right where I twisted it and hold it down till it stays. Then I've got these little flowers that were on a lei from Dollar Tree. I put 2 on each and then go back and get some little pom-poms, some pink ones. Then I'm going to hot glue one side of each of those smaller eggs to the middle larger egg. And these are just so cute. I love them. They're adorable. I'm going to take another piece of that ribbon. I'm just going to put it on the back with some hot glue and then put some tape across with more hot glue and secure it. These are very light, so this will work perfect for a hanger. Let me know what you think. I just think these are as cute as can be. For this DIY, I'm going to take this little crate from the Dollar Tree. I often use these to make little book stacks, but this time I'm going to use it actually as a crate. I'm going to take my Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm going to paint the bottom and the 2 smaller sides, and then I'll wipe off any excess so it looks like a stain. Now I'm going to paint the 2 other sides and the inside with my white Rust-Oleum, well, it's linen white chalk paint. I'm going to take these 2 bunnies I got at Dollar Tree. I sanded around the edges because they were really kind of splintery. And I'm just kind of looking at how they will look if I put them on the sides. I'm going to paint the whole bunny front and back white to start with. Then I'm going to take the Antique Wax and I'm going to paint around the edges. I'm going to sand down the front a little bit to make it smooth and then wipe away any of the sanding dust. I'm going to take this little spackle container and draw a half circle because I want this to look like the back of a bunny, and I'm going to take the Antique Wax and just kind of go over that line that I drew and create the little bunny butt, the definition for that. I'll do that to both of these. And then I decided to turn them over and use the Antique Wax on the back as well. And I'm going to take a little nail file to sand on that little bunny butt line and just kind of mute it a little bit. I'm going to put Mod Podge all over all the pieces. And then on the short sides or the small sides, I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue. And I'm going to put the bunnies right on there. It'll be almost like little bookends for the crate, if you will. And I did distress in those little lines on the crate as well with the Antique Wax. Now I'm going to take a yellow pom-pom and put one on each side. I ran out of the little white one, so I had to use the yellow. I'm going to take a bag, a plastic bag, and just stuff it in there so I don't have to fill up the whole thing. I'm going to take some of this styrofoam, they're balls that I had cut in half, and I'm just going to put the flat sides glued into the bag. And then I'm going to take these gorgeous flowers from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut off some little pieces, and I'm going to have one hanging over between the bunny ears on each side. So there'll be 2 there and then 1 in the middle. And then I've got these dahlias, and I'm just going to cut some of those and put them in there. And I'm going to add some extra leaves that I had also cut off, just kind of fill up the little crate so it just looks like flowers are just spilling out, which I think is so pretty. This has got to be one of the easiest DIYs, and I just love how pretty it is. I'm going to use it as a centerpiece on our table. Let me know what you think. For this adorable and whimsical wreath, I'm going to take this little grapevine wreath that I got at the Dollar Tree. It might actually be bamboo. I've got this piece left over of this decorative mesh. And then I found these headbands. They're so cute with the little bunnies on springs. And so I grabbed a couple of them, and I'm just going to pull off the bunnies, and then I'm going to snip off that spring because I don't need it. But first, before I start all this, I'm going to take a little piece of twine and stick it under the twine that's already on there, tie a knot and glue it down, and that will be my hanger, and I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to take this decorative mesh, and I'm just going to attach it to one of those pieces of twine again. And I'm going to wrap it around, but leaving spaces so that you can still see the wood part of the wreath, because I want it to still have that look as well as the pretty colorful decorative mesh. And you'll see what I'm doing here in just a second. I'm also going to make sure that the really shiny, glittery side is facing up. So I'll just kind of twist it as it goes around, leave a little gap, and do the same thing and make sure the shiny side is up. And I'm going to go all the way around. And there it is. And I'm just going to snip off the excess and tie that down with some more twine. And that will be that. And I'll put a little drop of hot glue just to make sure it stays secure. You could use zip ties if you wanted to do this as well. So I'm going to place the bunnies where I think I want them to go and just look at that. Since I had two purple ones and then a pink and a blue one, I decided to put the purple ones on those two sides and then put the other one on the top and the bottom. I'm going to take my snips and just break off that little spring and hot glue the bunnies right onto the wreath. This is such an easy DIY. You could do this with your grandkids or kids, and I think it would be super fun and they'd feel like they really accomplished something. Now that I've got all four of the bunnies on, I felt like it looked a little plain. And I had these leftover Easter eggs from Dollar Tree that I found in my stash, always trying to use my stash. And I realized I was probably never going to use them, so I just went ahead and hot glued them on in between each bunny. So I used four of them, and now they're gone. I got to use up more stash. I'm so happy. And like I said, this is just a cutesy, fun, whimsical wreath, not high-end, fancy kind of thing, just something super cute. I've got some greenery that I got on Amazon, and I can never remember if these are eucalyptus or boxwood, but I'm going to put one in between every piece and just kind of dress up the wreath a little bit. I hope you like it. Florals from Dollar Tree, and then I also have this awesome decal that was made by my friend Lee and Epp from DIY Beauty on Purpose, and then an 8x10 frame from the Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is take the frame apart, just take all the pieces out completely. I'm going to look at the glass and see where I might want to place my decal, and then I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to work on the frame. I have this drop cloth, and it made me think of like the shroud that Jesus' body was wrapped in, so I decided to cut some strips. So you just kind of cut a little bit at the top and then rip, and I did that to quite a few of them. So there we go. And then I want to paint the frame so that if you see through it, you can't tell it's gold. So I got the warm buff from Apple Barrel, and look how close it is to the color, the drop cloth. First, I'm going to put a little Mod Podge on there so that the paint will stick. And I'm going to use my heat tool from Amazon to dry that because I have no patience. I'm just going to go ahead and paint the frame front and back. And that's perfect. So if there's any gaps in the drop cloth, that will look good then. So now I'm just going to take my little snips and pull out those little pieces that hold the glass in. Now I'm going to figure out how big the pieces I need for each of the corners. So I cut that size out. I used my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, which is perfect for this. And I'm just going to go ahead, glue that around the corner and figure out how long I need it to be. I'm going to cut a little like kind of upside down V there so that it won't be too much fabric in the corner. And then I'll just tack that down with a little more glue. And I'm going to do all four corners, and then I will work on the rest of the frame. Next, I'm going to figure out what size piece I need for each of the sides, you know, the little pieces. I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of them using the first one that I cut kind of as template. And then I'm just going to start laying down the glue and putting them on the top, and I'll do them all in a row, and then I will turn it over and I'll start gluing the back, and that kind of makes it go faster, almost like a little bit of an assembly line. Turn it over, add some glue to the back, and then I'll just start pushing the edges down right there. Super easy, and it just works really well, and that glue is perfect for this. And I'm trying to leave a little gap so that the glass will go back inside there. And so there's one side, and now there's all the sides. And now I've got my greenery. I'm just going to snip some little pieces off. What I want to do is in the top left and the bottom right corner, I just want to make a little arrangement with the lavender, the greenery, and those little yellow flowers. I'm just going to hot glue them in place, and I think that's going to be really beautiful. Then I had this idea to take a little piece of the drop cloth, cut some kind of wavy pattern on the top, and roll it up, glue it to itself, and then make like little drop cloth flowers, and they'll sit right in the center where those two pieces meet so you can't see the hot glue. And I did that to the top corner and the bottom corner, and I think it's actually pretty cute. Next, I'm going to set my piece of glass up on these two little containers, and I'm going to use my glass cleaner and just get it nice and clean. I'm going to use my little scraper tool to burnish, make sure that the decal is really on there good so that when I pull off the backing, it will be ready to transfer. Then there's the transfer tape that Leonette provided. She did a great job, by the way. Obviously, I know how to do these things, and so it was just kind of fun to get what I didn't have to do. So now I'm laying it down in the center of the glass, and I'm burnishing it again. And then I'm just going to pull up that transfer paper, and look, there it is. Isn't that beautiful? I thought that was the cutest little transfer too. I absolutely love it. And so now I'm just going to put it face down inside the frame, and then I'm going to add some of that glue again to kind of the corners and the middles and push it in. And then I'm going to take some little clamps I have from the Dollar Tree and put them on each of the four sides to hold it in place. I love this picture so much. It might be my favorite from this video. You'll definitely have to tell me what you think. Incredibly easy. I ordered these wooden eggs off of Amazon, and I'm just painting them white using some painter's tape to hold them in place while I paint them, and I used primer to do it. And then I'm just drying them off, and I'm going to take some black paint and a toothbrush, and I'm just going to spray them to get that speckled look. And it comes out so cool, but let me tell you, it is so messy. You do need a firm bristled type of a brush. And there you can see the mess that I made all over my hands and the table, but it cleans up so easily. It's worth it. I printed out on my Cricut a bunch of little words that I thought really fit with Easter, and I used a font that kind of looks like Rae Dunn, and I'm just putting them on each of the eggs, and I'm burnishing them on so that the little transfers will work. You could use Dollar Tree stickers, you could write this, whatever you want. It's so easy. You don't have to have a Cricut to do this one. And look how adorable this egg turns out. And then, you know, I did all the rest of them too. I love this so much. And then I've got this little tag from the Dollar Tree, and then I printed out something else on my Cricut that says "He is risen" in that same font. And I'm just going to go ahead and transfer it right on there. Again, you can use stickers, you could write this, whatever you want to do. And it's adorable. I have this basket, and I put some greenery in it and a little one of those microfiber little mop things from the Dollar Tree. And I just glued on the tag to the very front. I arranged the little eggs in there. Aren't they cute? And then I just took some greenery and I kind of cut it off the pick and just arranged it with some twine in the middle. Actually, I think that's nautical rope. And then I'm going to put a little lavender in there and hot glue it, and I'm just going to wrap it all up. And that's what's going to cover the hole on my tag, because I couldn't think of anything else to do. And I thought this was really pretty. And so that's what I did. Like I said, this one is so easy and it comes out beautiful. I love it. If it's not my favorite, it's my second favorite. And there's my little kind of bow looking thing, and I'm just going to glue it right to the top there with some hot glue, and then I'm going to clamp it so the whole thing stays. Let me know what you think of this one. Super easy DIY. I'm using Jenga blocks, or actually Tumbling Tower blocks, and some twine from the Dollar Tree and some white chalk paint. I'm just going to paint all of the blocks, put them on some painter's tape, and do all the sides, dry them off, and I'm not going to show you all of that because it takes forever. Anyway, there they are. They're all painted, and then I'm going to add some Mod Podge to them. And then I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to start writing words that are associated with Easter from a spiritual standpoint. And so I write that on all of them, just on one side. And then I'm going to take a very, very fine tip art brush and some black acrylic apple barrel paint. And I'm going to just go over what I wrote in pencil. And you really need a fine point brush for this, otherwise it's almost impossible. And so I do that with all of them. And as soon as that's done, I'm going to take my twine, I'm going to add some beads to the end, and then I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to start hot gluing the little blocks on to the twine. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I'm going to do it to all of them, and then add a bead in between each one and beads at the end, and then make a little loop and a knot. And that's it, you guys. It's a beautiful Easter garland that you can add to, a greenery garland, or put it on a tray, or put it on a shelf. It's beautiful. This could not get any easier. I mean, seriously, it's so easy to do this, and I hope you love it too. Garland from Five Below. That was $5, and it's a magnolia garland. I'm going to use these pics from Walmart. I think they were $2 and change, and they're just berries. And then I've got this floral tape from the Dollar Tree and floral wire from Hobby Lobby. And what I'm going to do is I need an 8-foot garland. I'm making this for my sister-in-law, and so these are each 6 feet. So I'm going to cut off 2 feet from one of them, and then I'm going to take my floral tape and take the ends, and I'm just going to wrap it around and attach them. And that's how I'm going to turn this into an 8-foot garland. This is my first time making my own garland. Obviously, I'm starting with this magnolia base garland, but by adding the pics to it, it's like I'm creating my own garland, and I think this is the coolest thing, and I definitely want to do this again. I mean, just think, you can make it custom to whatever you like, as long as you just have something to start with, something very basic. And this $5 garland, oh my gosh, you can't beat that. So now I've got it attached. You can see how I'm doing it right here, and there it is. And then I'm going to take the pics, I'm going to cut off all the little pieces. My sister-in-law didn't want that part that had yellow, so I took that out. And I'm alternating kind of side to side with larger pics and smaller pics, and I'm going to use that floral tape, wrap it around, and just keep going down the entire 8-foot garland. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I'm going to show you a couple of them, and then I'll show it to you at the end, because it's the same process over and over and over. And it's actually way easier than I would have ever imagined. And to think you could spend $70 to $100 and something for a really nice quality garland, and you could do this yourself. I really am so glad I tackled this. It's my first time, and who knew it was actually going to be this easy. It turned out gorgeous. And I did put a little hot glue on the end, but you didn't really need to because it's tape and it's sticky, but I was a little overkill, and that's what I did. This is so pretty. She wanted like a spring neutral kind of a garland, and this is perfect. And I think it'll carry into summer too. I think it'll be perfect for that. I love the magnolia leaves with the berries. It's a great combination. And here you can see I'm just getting a little further down the garland. And there it is. I just have a little piece of right there, and it looks like this for the whole 8 feet. And I forgot to film it, but I also added fairy lights that I got off of Amazon, and they look so nice. Guys, it's gorgeous. Please let me know what you think. DIY, I'm using this sign I got at the Dollar Tree, and it has some sparkles on it, so I'm sanding it off, and then I'm going to use my little handy dandy ladybug vacuum to clean it up, and I'll put a link down in the description. Super cheap and very helpful to have. And now I'm just wiping away all the dust and cleaning it off so that I can prepare to turn this into a really cute Easter sign. The first thing I'm going to do is use my Waverly Antique wax, and I'm going to stain the frame around the picture. Put the wax on, and then I wipe the excess away with a paper towel, and that gives me the look that I'm going for. I do end up changing this later, but at the time I didn't know I was going to, so hence the staining. I'm going to be sure and get the edges too, because you will see that from the side, and I want to make sure that it all looks like it was meant to be stained that color on the entire frame. I'm going to put some masking tape along the inside of the frame because I'm going to be painting the face of this picture, and I want to protect the frame that I just finished staining. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Celery. I love that color so much. I like it as a good base for this. I'm going to cover the whole thing with 2 coats, and that just does the job perfectly. I'm going to remove the tape, and I'm going to add a top coat of the Waverly wax in white, and it just blends so nice with that celery, and it's like sealing it because it's got that shimmer kind of slippery feeling to it, and I just love how the celery peeks through. Now, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I love these pop-up stickers. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to place them all the way around, starting in the corners, so I, try to make them the same on each of the opposing sides. And once I get them on, I'm going to use that same Waverly white wax and cover them with several coats. And oh my gosh, it gets rid of the color that's on there, but it makes it look like there is like an embellishment on the frame. It was like it was always there. And I love that look so much. It's very farmhouse. I don't want just Easter eggs and bunnies and things like that for Easter, because Easter is all about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So I used my Cricut and I designed a crown that I want to put on there, a crown of thorns. And then I love when we say on Easter, He is risen indeed. And I just love that idea for a sign. So it's right there to remind us. And I'm using this masking tape that I ordered on Amazon for transfer tape, and it's so much less expensive than the other kind, and it works really well, and it's not like overly sticky like the kind you have to rub on your pant leg first to make it less sticky. And now I'm just positioning them on there. I'm going to use a little bit of tape as a guide. Literally, you can do this any way you want. If you don't have a cutting machine, you can use the stickers from the Dollar Tree, rub-on transfers, you can write it, you can use carbon paper and print something out from the computer. So I just want to let you know there's so many options if you don't have a cutting machine. And I'm using gold vinyl, which I thought looked really good on this sign with the kind of blonde frame and then the green peeking through with also the wax on top of it. I just love it. It's kind of neutral, but it's also with the gold, it adds just a little punch. I decided to add a little bit of the gold metallic paint, just like a dry brush effect, where I put a teeny bit on my brush, rub most of it off, and then just go around the edges. And I really love how that turned out. I hope you like this. It means a lot to me. DIY, I have a picture frame from the Dollar Tree, 8x10, and then I've got a little piece of cardboard that I'm going to use my Cricut just to kind of score out a shape of a bunny, because freehanding it won't come out quite as nice. So I just ran it through, and now I'm just going to cut it out. It didn't go all the way through the cardboard. I don't have the right blade for that. I'm going to take everything out of my frame, the backing and the glass and so forth, so that I can start working on what I'm going to do to the frame. I decided to use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, which I got from Amazon, to paint the frame. I'm just going to go around and paint it. I'm not trying to get like a very solid coverage because I will be distressing it. So I've done the whole entire front sides and the back. Now I'm going to take the inside portion that has the stand on it, and I'm going to figure out with some paint sticks that I also got at Amazon how many I need to actually fit across the whole thing and create some kind of faux shiplap planks. Now I'm going to tape them all together, and I used my square to make sure they were all even. That way when I put them in my little box miter saw, they'll stick together and I can cut them all at one time. You see how nicely that's happening? And then I'm just going to sand the ends, and I'm going to use my Aleene's Quick Dry Tacky Glue, which I'm really liking, by the way. I ordered that on Amazon as well. And I'm just going to glue each one of the planks, and they fit perfectly now on there. And all I have to do at the end is just sand around the edges just a teeny bit. I'm going to use my little Dollar Tree clamps to hold them in place. And there they are. Now I'm going to sand the entire surface with my little sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some burnt umber acrylic paint from Apple Barrel and mix it with some water. And I'm going to use a little foam brush, and I'm just going to apply it across the whole thing and basically treat it like a stain. And I didn't even rub it off because it was just fine the way it was. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that Rust-Oleum white linen chalk paint, and I'm just going to dry brush across the top. Now I've got this cute piece of material from many years ago. I'm just going to cut a smaller piece, and I'm going to use my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, which is great for fabric. I learned about this from my friend Linda at Faith Chick 777's DIY and Design, and I'll put her link down in the description box. And I got that on Amazon too. And I'm going to apply that to the bunny, and I'm going to put my fabric right on it. I'm going to take my brayer, and I'm going to roll right over the top of that and make sure it's adhering really well. And I'll take some scissors and cut it out. And I'll use a blade for any little pieces I couldn't get with the scissors. Now I am going to take that white paint again, and I'm just going to go around the edges and make it bleed a little over onto the front. I'm going to hot glue the bunny right onto the middle of my planks, and then I'm going to take some Mod Podge. I'm going to use matte. I'm just going to do the wood planks. Now I didn't want to do it before the bunny was on because I didn't think the bunny would stick as well. And all I have to do now is put it in the frame. But I decided I still wanted to stress that frame. So I just take a nail file and go all the way around. You guys, this is so easy. It came out so cute, very rustic, and I really love it. One of the great things about this is you can use any fabric or scrapbook paper or napkins. If you like, you could paint it any color and just customize it to your decor. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So rustic about like ragdoll type of things, and I'm gonna make a kind of a ragdoll bunny. So I freehanded this one, that's why it's not so great. But anyway, I cut it out on a piece of cardboard. You know, I'm always so inspired by my friend Holly at Hot Humble Pie because she does so much with cardboard, so I thought I should give it more of a try. I'll leave her link down in the description box. You will love her. And then I'm using a piece of a drop cloth, and that gives it that kind of rag feel. I'm just gonna trace the shape around it, and then I'm going to cut it out. And it's doubled over, by the way, because I do need two pieces. We're gonna make it kind of a plushie. And then you see I cut around the lines a little because those are going to be sort of like my glue seams. I'm not going to sew this, but you most certainly can. I just didn't feel like it. I'm going to use this pillow stuffing I have right here, and I'm going to start gluing from the bottom because those are the wider, bigger pieces, and I think it'll make it a lot easier than starting with the skinny little ears. And so once I get enough of the bottom and the sides glued, I'm going to start stuffing very gently, just little pieces at a time, pushing around until I get it to the thickness that I want. And I'm not going for anything super thick, just a little stuffing. And now I'm going to add a little bit of that stuffing and just go little by little, glue a little more on the sides, add a little more stuffing all the way up to the top. And then I'll slow down a little bit to show you how I do the ears. Now for the ears, I'm going to pull out some little pieces of the stuffing and kind of roll them a little bit so that the bottom is a little wider than the top. That's kind of how the ears are shaped. And then I'm going to stuff it in. I only glued one side so far of that one ear, and I'm going to push it in, and then I will glue down the other side. And I'll repeat the same thing on the other ear and make sure that little spot in between the two ears is sealed as well. And I really do shove that stuffing in there so I can get to the two ends, otherwise you'll glue the stuffing. And there it is. And now I'm going to take my little baby scissors and I'm just going to cut little teeny slits around the side so that it frays. I took another piece of that scrap material that I'd cut off and I'm creating a little apron. And so it wasn't big enough to just do it outright. So I took two pieces and I'm just kind of gluing down the seams in the middle. You see the little straps around the side, and where that seam is, that's going to be kind of right where the bunny's tummy meets in the middle. I'm going to glue that down. And once I have that glued down, except for the very top, which will have an opening, it's almost like a front pocket, even though it looks like an apron. Then I'm just going to tie the little straps in the back into a knot. And I'll just tack those down with a little teeny bit of hot glue so they don't flop around. Now I've got these buttons from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to find one that I like. I narrowed it down to 3, and then I finally picked this one. And then I'm just going to put some hot glue on it, a generous amount, and I'm going to put it right on the little bunny's face. I'm only going to do one side of this bunny. I'm going to take this orange burlap from the Dollar Tree and kind of just keep folding it until I make like what looks like a carrot shape. And then I'm going to trim it when I'm done and make it really look like more of a carrot shape. Then I'm going to take this green twine that I have. I think it's from the Dollar Tree. I'm not actually sure. And I'm going to wrap it around my fingers several times and cut one side open and then glue the other side kind of to itself. And that will make the greenery that comes out of the carrot. I'm going to do the same thing with a little bit of jute twine because I want it to be kind of a combination of the green and the tan kind of jute color. And see how it's looking like a carrot now. And this is, I'm not going to do it as much with the jute. I just want to add a little accent in there. And I'm gluing them together. And then I'm going to put a little hot glue on the back of the carrot, attach the greenery, and then I cut a little triangle to cover that up, put that right on there. And then I'm just going to trim the carrot till it's the size that I want. I'm going to make 3 carrots. They came out really cute and they were super easy to make. And I'm just going to test it out and see how it fits in the pocket. And there they are. Now I'm going to take this mop head, and it's like 4 strands in one, and I'm going to separate them, wrap around my finger. I'm going to make not a full pom-pom, but kind of like a partial pom-pom. So otherwise I would have made it way thicker if it was a full pom-pom. But after I wrap it around a ton of times, keep adding more pieces, I just put one string in the middle and then tie it around one little end. Then I trim that piece and I just start trimming the little pom-pom, like giving it a haircut. This is going to be my bunny tail. And I thought that was so cute. I'm going to cut out a little like triangle of the back end of the bunny where you would have it, and there's a little hole there now, and I'm just going to kind of shove the bunny tail in there and glue it, and that worked perfectly. And now there are the carrots. I just love this little bunny. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments, and I really hope you guys like it too. I'm going to use a sock and a piece of a sock, and I wish I had tube socks. It would have been so much better. Then I'm going to use some burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel and the Fawn Waverly chalk paint. I'm going to mix those two together, take a baby wipe and rub it all over the socks because I really want it to look kind of like a worn out rag. And I didn't want to use the drop cloth because then I would have to deal with all the ends, but as a sock it's already solid. And I'm just pouring some rice in there. I'm just using a little bucket and rolling the top over to make it easier. When I get the first section the way I want it, I'm going to tie some twine around it, twice and make it really secure, and then cut off the ends. Then I'm going to add some more rice. Again, if I'd had a tube sock, what's going to happen next would have been so much better. So see that little teeny piece that was left? I needed more. So I had to add another piece of sock, kind of tie it on, and then cut it down the middle to make bunny ears. So imagine if it had been a tube sock. You would have had the ears built in already, and this would have been a much easier process. So if you make this, definitely use a tube sock, okay? I didn't have one. It didn't occur to me till I was already this far. Anyway, so now I'm cutting the ears, and you see I've got that big bunch in the middle there. I'm going to have to deal with that later, but I will. I'm going to trim them so they'll be kind of thinner, and then what I'm going to do is fold over as much as I can and hot glue kind of pieces down to cover where that extra piece was attached so you won't see it. And then I'm kind of putting a little bit of hot glue between the ears to hold them together. I'm going to add a couple of buttons from the Dollar Tree to the center for his little bunny outfit. Then I've got this like poly rope from the Dollar Tree in the automotive section. It's red, and I'm just going to kind of wrap it around itself and cut it and hot glue it and make a little nose. Then I'm going to take some twine, and I'm just literally going to add like 3 whiskers on each side. Just hot glue that right down. Then I'm going to take some scrap drop cloth that I had, and I'm going to make a little pocket. And I'm going to hot glue the pocket right onto the side of my little sock bunny. And there's my pocket once I get the last side attached. Obviously you can sew these kind of things if you want, but this is just so easy to do with hot glue. It's not like it's gonna carry anything heavy. I'm using a jot marker and I am making the little bunny mouth, and it doesn't go on as nice as I want. And I'm going to also make the bunny eyes. So I end up taking a little bit of black apple barrel paint and filling in with a very fine art brush. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white apple barrel paint and make the little part of the eyeballs. Just kind of dab it on there. And then I've got a little piece of sock that was left over, and I kind of cut it into a triangle. I'm just going to roll it onto itself and hot glue it and make a carrot shape. And then I've got some orange yarn from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to wrap it around, hot gluing it as I go, and then wrap it up around the top to cover all of the sock. And once I have that all glued down, I'm going to take some of the green twine that I have, and I'm going to wrap that around my fingers many times. Doesn't matter, it's up to you how much greenery you want. I'm just going to cut one end, hot glue the other end to itself, and then hot glue it directly to the top of the carrot, and that makes its little greenery. And I really like how this carrot turned out. Then I've got some buffalo check ribbon. I'm going to make it a little awareness type ribbon, and then I'm just going to hot glue it in the center so it will stay in place. And then I'm going to take another little piece of plaid black and white ribbon. I'm just going to hot glue that around the center, give it a cute little centerpiece. And now I got to deal with that top of the bunny. So I'm going to start rolling it up and create kind of like seams. And I'm just hot gluing as I go. And now you won't see so much. I mean, you see it, but the bow is going to cover it pretty well. And that's the best I could do. Like I said, you really need a tube sock for this one. I still think it came out so cute, and I really love it. I would love to hear what you think about this one down in the comments. Dollar Tree, actually two of them. One has the metal bunny on it, which I need the bunny, but right now I don't need the sign, so I'll put that aside and I'll take the bunny for this particular DIY. And then that little welcome sign I'm going to use, I'm going to take off the plastic, paint the inside with a white acrylic paint because I want to get some pretty good coverage. You may wonder why I didn't use any painter's tape on this. I'm wondering that too now that I'm watching it back. I was trying to be careful, but I'm not very careful. So I did get paint on stuff, and now I'm putting celery. It's a chalk paint color from Waverly over the top, and I really love that. And that becomes like the second coat that really covers the words. And then I thought, now I'm going to see how the bunny's going to fit on there, and I realized I probably need to paint that little frame white. Well, I took out my Arteza paint markers, and I did that, but it shows the little marks like where you write. So I thought, okay, I'll just make that my base coat, and then I'll go get my white paint out again, and I'll touch that up. So I'm just using the pen to get the edges too, because that is a little easier than a brush. And now I'm going to go ahead and cover it so it looks really good. I feel like I did a lot of things on this one that took longer than they should have. Do you guys ever do that? I mean, just you think, oh, I'm going to do this and that, and then you make it so much worse by the choices that you make. Anyway, maybe it's just me, but that's what I did on this one. It should have gone way faster. So don't do what I did. Just paint it white to begin with, or put tape on it. See how I just got white on the green? Oh my gosh, Lisa, you need to use tape. It does turn out really cute, and I'm really happy with it overall. Again, tape would have been super nice, and I have some, so there's really no good excuse. Now that I have this all painted, I'm going to attach the bunny with some hot glue right over the top. And I just think it turns out super cute. So after all that, I still really love it. I hope you do too. Conversation bubble signs that Dollar Tree has, and I'm just going to draw a little line and use my blade utility knife, I guess, and I'm going to get rid of the little point at the bottom. I want it to look like the body of an Easter bunny. This one is going to be a cute bunny one. And then I also have this other sign from Dollar Tree that had different shapes on it. It had Easter eggs and different things, and I turned one of them into a head for the bunny, and I just took the whole thing apart. And then I also have that headband with the bunny ears, and I'm going to use that as well. So I'm hot gluing the two pieces together. I'm going to paint it with the Waverly chalk paint in plaster. I'm going to do 2 coats to cover it completely. I found a little bunny face online, and so just looking at my phone, and I'm freehanding the eyes and the mouth and the nose. And once I do that, I'm going to take my Arteza black paint marker, and I'm going to go ahead and draw in the eyes. And so, or actually the eye, I only have one because it's a side view. It was so easy, and it actually looks really cute. So don't be intimidated by trying to do something like this. It's actually not that hard. Dollar Tree sells these little tools, the one I'm holding. I think they're for scoring, but I use them for very precise painting like this because it's like a little point, but it's round, you know, like a ball tip. And so it works really well if you can find them in the Crafter Square section. I was so excited. I finally found the color ballet slipper from the Waverly chalk paint at Walmart. I've been looking for it for a long time. So I'm doing the nose with that color. It's so cute. And then I'm going to touch up where I went over the line a little bit. And afterwards, I'm going to use ballet slipper again to make the cute little rosy cheeks. I'm also going to use ballet slipper like dry brushing around the edges of the bunny because I just wanted a little bit of pink in there and I just love the way it looked. Now I'm going to attach the little bunny ears. I'm going to stretch it out a bit, and then I'm going to hot glue it directly onto the head. And it looks so cute, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm going to use one of these microfiber dust pads from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut out a little circle and make a fuzzy tail for the bunny. And that was just perfect. I'm also going to use this gray and white mop head, and I'm going to start creating a circle with them, kind of like, you know, attaching them around the sides of itself. And I'm going to use hot glue, and those will be the two little feet that you see on the one side. And I'm just looking for some different textures, and I actually really liked the way that came out. It was super easy, and I had lots of extra ones. I have one of those little baby carrots from the Dollar Tree. And I just put it there like he was holding it. And now I'm going to take some floral pics from Dollar Tree, just really vibrant, beautiful colors. And I'm going to cut off the little pieces. And I'm going to create a little bouquet that I'm going to wrap in some ribbon that I got, I believe at Walmart. Really pretty burlap ribbon with lace on it. And I'm just going to hot glue that directly to the center of the bunny. I'm going to get some jute twine, and I'm going to make a cute little bow, the kind where you just wrap it around your fingers a bunch of times, tie the center, and then snip the loops. I'm also going to fill in the little hole above the eye with some hot glue and then paint it with the plaster. Super easy, you guys. I mean, seriously, this was such an easy one, and it came out so cute, so festive. I'm just so happy with how it turned out. You'll have to tell me what you think. I really love it. Super fun, festive Easter craft. I found this sign at the Dollar Tree with all the little eggs and a bunny and a chick on it. And I'm going to use the eggs and the bunny. I'm just going to rip the pieces apart. It came apart super easy. And I also found this pretty basket at the Dollar Tree. And then I've got these big round kind of, I don't know what you call those florals, but they're huge. And I cut 3 of them and just set them in the basket. Didn't even need foam or anything. They fit in there perfectly. I'm just arranging the leaves. And then I'm going to leave all of these eggs just as they are because they're super cute. And I just think there's no reason to change them. And I'm going to hot glue them to the front and position them kind of into a fun little design. And this is so easy, you guys. This one, you don't have to do any special techniques, no painting, yay. No mess to clean up, just hot glue, and that's it. You guys, Easter is such a special time of the year. It's a time for us to remember that the Savior is there for us, that He came back and that He rose again. And oh my gosh, there's so much hope in that, so much eternal hope. And I just pray that every one of you fully receives the gift that He has given you. Because of the way that I hot glued the eggs on, there was a little gap between 2 of them. So I just took a little piece of a shim and put it in between, and that will keep that nice and solid. And that way, you know, I won't accidentally break it if I move it around. I'm going to add the little bunny just behind the very top of the egg, so he's just kind of peeking out. And I just think it's so cute. I mean, I could have painted it and done stuff to it, but I think it was cute the way it was. And I have this little heart tag. It's like a little chalkboard surface, and I'm using one of my Arteza paint markers, and I'm just writing Happy Easter. Not super fancy, just, you know, regular capital letters. And I'm going to put a really pretty little turquoise piece of ribbon in there and hang it on the bunny. I'm just going to add a little teeny bit of hot glue to keep the heart where I want it to sit, and that'll just hold it nice and secure. I have this green twine, and I honestly can't remember if it's from Dollar Tree or Walmart, but it's one of those two. And I'm literally just going to wrap it around 2 fingers and make one of those little simple bows where you tie off the middle. This one I'm not going to cut open the loops though. I think it looks really cute. It's almost going to look like the bunny has a bow tie. This was such a fun and easy little centerpiece to make, just to have a nice festive Easter table. Let me know what you think in the comments. Friend, for this first DIY, I'm taking a hat from the Dollar Tree, a scarf from the Dollar Tree, and some florals that I already had on hand. And I don't think they came from the Dollar Tree, but maybe they did. And I'm going to take my tags off, and I'm going to take that red scarf off of the hat because I don't need it. This is just going to be such a simple, fun thing to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blade and then my scissors, and I'm going to cut some little slits in the hat, right where the top of the hat meets the brim. And what I want to do is kind of weave the scarf in and out around the entire hat. So once I get that cut, and then on the inside, and then I've got to fluff it and glue pieces down, you know, just to make it look good, because it never does what you want. And the hats at Dollar Tree, honestly, are super cheap. And so some of the slits I cut, they came apart even bigger. So I just had to hot glue and kind of make it look like they were just woven in and out. So just a warning, if you do get a Dollar Tree hat, just know that's going to happen. And once I get them all situated though, I am going to tie the scarf into a knot, and it's just going to look so cute on there. Doesn't that just remind you of picnics out in the English countryside? Or a fun Easter bonnet that you would wear.
Very country, cottagey English almost. It's so cute. Now that I've got the top dealt with, I'm going to turn it over and work on the bottom, and I'm going to secure things there because I just don't want it to pull through. This is just going to be something you can hang on a wall or set on a shelf kind of as a piece of decor. And it won't be touched a lot, but I still don't want anything to happen. And I used some jute cord to make a little hanger. Very simple, just cut a piece, hot glued it, and then put a little masking tape over it. You're never going to see that because that will be up against the wall or laying on top of something. Next, I'm going to start adding some florals. So I had pulled a few aside, and now I'm just going to figure out which ones that I actually do want to use for this. I love those kind of off-white ones. I think they look great, so I'm definitely going to do that. And then I'm going to add in some of the yellow too because I want to make it all tied together. But I don't want to overdo it, so I had extras. I didn't end up using them because I think they were just too much. I even cut one off and put it up there and looked at it, and then I thought, no, just remember, less is more. That's kind of my mantra. Then I got these natural wooden beads that I had gotten from Amazon, and I picked the larger ones. And I'm literally going to hot glue one to every intersection where I made a little, I guess, kind of poof, if you will, for the scarf. And I think it looks so cute. I'm not going to paint them. I'm not going to do anything. Just hot glue them right onto the hat. I'm honestly loving this look. Please let me know what you think. Would you make something like this? I mean, it's so easy. This is just super easy. I mean, why not try it?
Fun DIY. I am going to use this tall cylinder vase from the Dollar Tree, some glitter Easter eggs, some scatter foam for Easter, and I've got a carrot there and I don't know if I end up using it or not. And then I've also got this really cute kind of twine garland from the Dollar Tree that's got little gold, little berry type flowery things on it. I never know what to call those. Anyway, super cute. And I'm just literally going to put everything in the vase that will fit, kind of crunch it in there and alternate between the eggs and the scatter foam so that it's kind of a nice mixture. What I'm looking for is something super fun, colorful, and festive. I have these two really cute grass pics that have little butterflies up on the top from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna scoot them in there as best I can. I really didn't want to add a lot of colorful flowers because there's so much color already in the vase itself. So I thought the tall grass coming out with the butterflies would be super cute and feel a lot like an Easter type piece of decor. What do you guys think? This was easy. You could do this with your kids. You could do this, even if you're not crafty, you could do this. This was just filling the vase up. It was super easy, you guys. And sometimes it's fun to do projects like that, where you don't have to mix paints and use funny techniques and just kind of have fun. And then I bent some of the grass out just to give it a little more interest and have, you know, different heights and things going on. This is one of those crafts where you could pretty much do whatever you want and make it look however it would fit best in your home. Let me know in the comments how you would decorate this. We're going to make a super easy Easter garland. I found this yarn at Walmart, and I have this little tool that I created out of cardboard, and I put a little skewer stick on there to hold it straight, and then I cut out a notch and I made tassels with it. Now I have a video where I really go slow and I take my time explaining it, so I'm going to link that up in the cards and also down in the description box. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time right now explaining how to make the tassels because I just as soon have you go to that video where it's so much more clear. But I am making quite a few of these tassels, and honestly, the amount that you make will depend on how long you want your garland to be and how you want to create your own pattern. I chose to make tassels with this yarn and another kind of twine. This yarn was super thin, so when I made the tassel, I wrapped it around about 30 times. On the green twine, it's much thicker, so I only wrapped it around 15 times because it was really twice as thick as the yarn. I also decided to use the regular jute twine and do the tie around the top of the tassel with that, just to kind of make it look a little different. So instead of using the green, I'm using the regular one. You could really do this with any color you want, anything that speaks Easter to you. It's your garland and you can be as creative as you want. Now I'm going to get some of my beads. I'm going to use all different sizes, and I'm going to put them on a skewer to paint them. There are so many different ways you can do this. I've just found this to be a pretty easy way. And then I stick the skewer into a piece of foam so it stays in place, and I just hold the top and twist it while I'm painting it. I have also seen people put them in a little bowl with paint and a little bit of water and toss them around. Honestly, whatever works just to get them painted. I'm using the maize color Waverly chalk paint for the first section of beads, and then I'm going to use a couple other colors This one is celery, by the way, that I'm painting these, and they're different sizes. I buy the beads on Amazon. I'll put a link in my description to show you the ones I bought. They're not always the same ones that are available, but they're similar. Much cheaper for a huge amount of beads in different sizes. Also, you get to pick the pattern you want to make. So how many beads you use and which ones will be up to you. Now I'm also painting the other size there in plaster, and I'm going to mix them all up, and I'm kind of working on that pattern that I'm deciding on. And I'm going to use the jute twine to string them all up. Again, this part is individual, whatever you like. I wanted mine to look like they could go into the whole time of spring, not just Easter. So I kind of didn't do specific Easter things. I just tried to pick some colors that I thought would work for both. There's a couple options to make stringing the beads and the garland easier, and you can either use like a needle, a very large needle, or you can wrap a little teeny bit of tape around the end of your twine and make it a little bit more firm and tight, and then it will get into the holes of even the smallest beads. What you're seeing me do here was try to get one of my little knots out. I was knotting between different rows of beads, or patterns of beads I should say, and I used the pointy end of a skewer to help me get in there. I have a tendency to pull my knots really tight, and even when I'm not sure if they're going to stay, so I have to try to remember to keep them looser until I'm positive where I want to put them. This was just a really super simple garland that you could use, and you can make them with cute little things hanging on them besides tassels and beads, or you could just have one thing at the end, whatever you like. I hope you guys like this one, and I hope that you get to make one that fits perfectly in your home. And here we have another super easy DIY. This little ceramic sign I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use it to put on a tiered tray because it's just the perfect size for that. I'm going to use my Arteza paint markers, and I'm just priming one right now because I don't think I've used that color before. You can put whatever you want on your sign. I'm going to literally have one side say Easter wishes, and then put some little Easter eggs on it. And on the other side, it's going to say bunny kisses. It's going to be super easy, super cute. I'm just handwriting it. I could have used my Cricut. I could have used stickers. But you know what? I wanted to make it very specific, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time. I definitely didn't want to spend a lot of money. And this was an easy way to do it. And literally, this cost me $1 plus the fact that I already had the markers. So if you want to factor in a couple cents for the use of those, that's it. You could put whatever you want. You could make these kind of little signs for every season and switch them out on your little tiered trays. Just a cute little addition to have, something that's super colorful. And if you didn't know, the Arteza markers come with a little tweezers. You see me using it there. And if you pull out the tips, one side is wider and one is pointy for more, detailed work. And I didn't learn that till I'd had them for a long time. So that was something kind of cool to find out. And I really like that because I can write those little teeny spots with the pointy side. And this video is not sponsored by Arteza. These markers were a gift from my son, my birthday last July, and I'm really enjoying them. I am freehanding a bunny. Try not to laugh too hard at my bunny. I'm not an artist by any means, but I figured, I'll kind of make a little bunny shape, and hopefully you guys will know that's what it is when you see it. I'm going to add a little ribbon around one side. Well, it's around the whole thing, but I'll make the little tie in the front. On the Easter Wishes side, it's a ribbon I got at Dollar Tree that I thought was very bright and festive. And then on the other side, I'm just going to use a little bit of that green twine that I used in the garland. And I'm going to have that one facing on the other side because as a two-sided little sign, I want them both to look cute. For this one, I'm just going to make a cute little bow, wrapping some twine around my fingers and then tying it off in the middle. Super simple, nothing fancy. I hope this gives you some cute ideas for things that you can do for Easter or even spring. And hopefully this will be something you might want to add to one of your tiered trays, and you can customize it any way that you like. It's super fun, and let me know in the comments what you think or what you might do instead. This wreath back in the fall, and I decided I'm going to repurpose it. I'm going to remove the fall florals, and now I'm going to add some really pretty spring and Easter type flowers and some greenery. And literally it's just so easy because I wrapped it in nautical rope. It's so easy to attach, and you can use hot glue. You don't have to. A lot of it will just stick right in between the pieces of nautical rope. And I'm just going to arrange the different florals just the way I like it. You know, first I'm going to add the greenery around, and then I'm going to put different colored flowers in there. And you can do this any way you like, whatever colors fit your decor, whatever you like. I was just going for super springy, festive, vibrant colors. I'll put a link to the video where I originally made this wreath down in the description box in case you want to see, you know, what I started with and how it got to the point where it starts in this video. You guys, I'm in love with these little carrots, as you can tell. So I decided to add some to this wreath. I just think they are so cute, and I just love the bright orange color. So I added 4 to the bottom of the wreath, and they're just so cute. I cannot get enough of these carrots. This little grass pick that I got at Dollar Tree has butterflies in it. So I cut out 3 of the butterflies, and I put the purple one in the center between the carrots and the 2 pink ones on the sides of the wreath. And I just love the extra little touch. It's so spring and Easter. I have this cute little wire garland from the Dollar Tree, and it's got little white, I don't know if they're berries or flowers on it, and I just had a little bit left over, so I wrapped a little bit on each side, and I just thought it added a nice little touch, and again, really just created that festive Easter spring feel that I was going for. I love how this turned out, and I hope you guys like it. I can't wait to hang it on my door. this Tumbling Tower block hack, we're going to use 46 of the blocks. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to start off by making 2 of the pieces that are exactly the same, and they're little like planters. So it only takes 12 blocks for each of those. So you can see me here putting together 4 of them, and I'm just using hot glue for this one. And then I'm going to have the 2 pieces that are the same, and then the last 4 blocks I'm going to put one the other direction on each side, and actually 2 on each side, because you could do it on the other one the same, but I'm going to do 2 there and then use the last piece to place right on top. You'll see what I'm doing here. Normally I would recommend you use wood glue. I was kind of trying to be in a hurry, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I should always use wood glue. And there they are. I made 2 of these little planter boxes. We're actually going to create a bench that sits on those planter boxes. So this is the back of the bench. And as you can see, there's 3 across and 5 going down. And I hot glued those together. And this is the seat of the bench. And it looks like there's 9 of those. And then I'm going to take the 2 remaining pieces sitting on the side there, put one going up on each end of the seated part of the bench, and then I'm going to take the back and lean it up against those pieces and just hot glue all the way across there and set that right on there. So now we have a bench without legs, but it does have a backing, and we're going to put each planter with the little short side underneath the bench, and we're going to hot glue those right to the top of each of the planters. I hope that makes sense. You can always freeze frame or take a screenshot if you're not sure, but that creates the little bench. Isn't that cute? I added a little base in the middle because I felt like it needed more stability. So what I did was I took 1 piece against of the 3 that are remaining there, the 2 on the outside, and I left the middle one alone, and then I put 1 more block right between them and added some extra glue for security, just to have a little more of a place for it to sit down on. I just felt like that added stability. I'm going to take that paint and I'm just going to do a nice coat. I'm not going to worry about making it perfect because it'll look a little distressed if I do it like that. So I painted every part of it, and I added some craft paper to the bottom with hot glue to finish it off. I'm going to add some moss in there that I had left over. I took a couple of these Dollar Tree pics and I just put some little flowers in there and greenery. You could put anything you want in there. I particularly would go for smaller ones. And I'm going to add a little piece of the pink just to give it a little more color. I hope you guys like this one. I really love it.
Walk with me, lead the way, I will follow. You woke me up, I no longer feel.
Tumbling Tower block hack. I'm only going to use 4 of the blocks. And I took my miter shears. It was off camera, unfortunately, and I sliced 3 of them in half, and it was so easy to do with those. Now I'm going to take the full one and I'm going to trace it on some scrapbook paper, all 4 of the sides, and I'm going to do that with the other pieces too off camera. What I want to do is get a bunch of cute little pieces of scrapbook paper, and I'm going to Mod Podge them right to the little wood blocks, the regular size one and the little ones. Now once I get all the sides on, I'm going to sand around the edges to make sure there's no pieces hanging over, and then I'm going to paint some white on each end of the blocks. And I should have done that first, so with the other ones I did do that first, but on this one I'm just painting it after, because I thought about doing it after I had already started the scrapbook paper. And now that I've got all the ends painted and all of the little pieces of the scrapbook paper Mod Podged on there, I found these jot markers. They have one side's a fine line, one side's a broad line, and that was really great because it's much more fine tip. And I'm going to do some eyes and a little mouth. Just draw it right on the big block, the regular size block. And then I'm going to take the red marker with the broad side, and I'm just going to make some rosy cheeks on each side. I just thought that would be super cute. We're making a little firefly. And then I've got a paper clip. I'm going to use my little snips and kind of make it get into the shape of what looks like antenna. So I'm just going to take one and, pull each end in, and then I will snip right in the middle, because with those little snips, it's very easy to do. And then I'm going to take a little cup hook that I have, and I'm just going to twist it 2 holes into the top of that big block, and then pull that out, and then put some hot glue in the holes and stick my little paper clip antenna right in there. It was super easy. Those Tumbling Tower blocks are super soft. They cut very easily. I was surprised, actually. I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue, and I'm going to put the little pieces that are the wings. I'm going to put some glue on the ends there and then set the middle piece on top, and then I'll turn it over and do the same thing with the other 3 pieces of the wing, kind of the matching pieces. And that's it. This was so easy. You could do these in all different colors. You could paint them. You could use napkins to decoupage. Honestly, there's a lot of possibilities with this, and I think it's really adorable. The back looked a little unfinished, so I took another little piece of scrap of paper. I roughed up the edges with my little scissors, and then I just glued it right over the back where the pieces meet, and it kind of gave it a more finished look. And that's really all it took. So cute.
Walk with me, lead the way, I will fall. You woke me up, I no longer feel.
Dollar Tree metal hack. I've got these cute little bottle caps from the Crafter Square. I've got 3 of them, and I also bought these seeds at Dollar Tree. I was inspired by Chalk It Up Fancy. They did something with the seed packets, and it made me want to try this. So I took the seeds out and cut off the back, so I still have the instructions. And then I'm going to take the pieces that I cut off the top. I'm going to saturate the edges with water, make it really wet so that I can just rip around the edges, real close to the edge there. I want to give it more of an antique look, and I didn't want those nice, perfect edges to be there. So there's one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some spray adhesive. I believe I got this at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to spray the back, lay it down, wipe off the excess. And I'll also use my brayer, which is from Amazon. That helps really make sure the thing lays very flat. I love doing that. You can also put saran wrap over the top too when you do it. I'm going to dry brush the burnt umber all over this bottle cap piece, and especially on those edges where I ripped the paper. And that makes this look really, really antique and very, very rustic. Now I did the same thing to all 3 of them. Then I've got this really beautiful kind of like burlap ribbon. I got this from burlapfabric.com. I'll put a link down in the description box if you're interested. It's a really nice heavy duty piece. And I just cut it, leaving some edges on the top and bottom. And I'm going to hot glue each one of these bottle cap pieces to my burlap ribbon. And I'll leave a little gap between each of them. And then I'm going to add some more glue on the back because I only did it really down the center, and I want to reinforce that so it stays in place. I made a little hanger out of some rope, and I just hot glued it to the back and added some tape over the top to just seal it in there with more hot glue, and that works really well. I've got a bunch of greens. This is some boxwood I got off Amazon. I'm going to glue some to the top and just make kind of a little arrangement there, and then I'm going to use some yellow flowers from the Dollar Tree. Just going to cut off the little stems and hot glue them right down. I was trying to get the colors of the flowers that are in these little seed packets. I didn't have the blue, but I used some purple. And then I also did little white ones in the middle there. And then I'm going to add some more of that greenery on the bottom. You could do however you want, any greenery, no greenery, whatever suits your fancy. And then I decided to add one more little white flower because it looked so empty where the white little baby flowers were. And I just had a beautiful rose, and I just decided to put it right in the center there. That really finished it off. This is such a beautiful rustic piece, especially if you like gardening and flowers. You'll have to let me know if this is something you might want to try.
Remember you, I've been thinking about you more.
I have this gorgeous spring rub-on transfer set from Dollar Tree, 3 little succulent containers and some votive candle glass containers. I believe everything here came from the Dollar Tree. And I just heated up the back to remove the tags, and I'm going to lightly sand all around the outside of my 3 little containers. I'm going to put that Sage Home Decor paint, 2 coats to cover everything but the inside, and then I'm going to add a coat of Mod Podge to seal them. Now I'm going to look at the transfer and kind of measure and see what I want. I'm only going to do it on one side of the little containers. And they're actually going to be one sitting right side up and the other 2 are going to be sitting upside down. You'll see what I mean here. And of course, I'm just going to rub on the transfer carefully. And then as I remove them, I'll make sure that it's adhered. Otherwise, I'll rub a little harder and get the rest of it off. And then kind of rub it into the little container. And I'll do the same thing with all 3 of these. This particular rub-on transfer set is just gorgeous. I love the florals. And this would work really nice into spring. I think this is going to be a beautiful little candle holder set. So now that I've got all 3 of my containers good to go with the rub-on transfers, I'm going to put two of them together so the tops will be glued together, and they're so light, I'm just going to use hot glue on these. You could use E6000 if you're concerned though. And they fit together very nicely. And then I'm going to take some very thin twine from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to wrap it around where the seam is, where they meet. That way kind of make it look more finished. And I'm going to wrap that around 2 times before I'm done here. Now I'm going to take the single one and I'm just going to wrap around right at the very, well, it's the bottom now, but it would have been the top. And there you go. Aren't they cute? And then I'm going to take some E6000 and hot glue combination so that I can glue those little glass votives right on top. And that is it. Talk about easy. And then I'm going to put some little battery operated little votive candles in there. And oh my gosh, this is so, so cute. And it would just look really cute on a shelf or on a tier tray, wherever you want. Let me know what you think. What a fun rub-on transfer I found at the Dollar Tree. And then I've got this little wooden bless sign and a frame from the Dollar Tree and a piece of cardboard. I'm going to remove the backing of the frame. I had already removed the glass for something else. And I'm just going to trace that little piece of paper that comes in it so I know I have the right size piece of the cardboard because I want to use that white side. And once I have that traced out, I'm just going to take some scissors and cut it. I could have used like a blade or, X-Acto knife for this. I probably should have, but it worked out just fine because it's such a small piece. I'm going to take this rub-on transfer right off the backing, carefully, not to touch it, and I'm just going to place it right on top. It fortunately covers the whole piece, and I'm going to put that backing underneath so it doesn't stick to my table. And I'm just going to start rubbing and then slowly pull away and make sure that everything is adhered by going back over it as I need to. Of course, this is sped up. I like to take my time when I'm doing rub-on transfers so I get the full design. This is such a cute one. Oh my gosh, I love this one so much. And there's still a little left on it, so I will save that for something else. I'm going to run some Mod Podge right over the top of that just to seal it in and dry it with my heat tool from Amazon, which is down in my Amazon store. And then I've got this rub and buff that I also got on Amazon. You just put a little bit, you don't have to do it on your finger. I just did. You could put it on, a little towel or wear a glove or something, and you rub it on. It turns whatever it is into an antique looking thing. So I did that on the whole frame, and now I'm going to put my cardboard and the backing back on. Push down the little clips. Isn't that pretty? And then I'm going to take my wooden word blessed and I'm going to tape it down to the table and use this Sage Home Decor chalk paint. And I'm just going to lightly paint over it. I'm not going to do heavy coat. It's just going to be once and just kind of go around the edges. And I'm looking at how I might want to position it. And I'm going to put some hot glue around the back there. Not on every part, but just cover as much as I can. I didn't want it to dry before I lay it down. I'm going to place that right on there, and that's it. How cute is this? Let me know what you think. I'm ready for spring. I've got this butterfly cut up, a metal butterfly wind chime, and some gorgeous kind of teal contact paper. I love it. I'm going to paint the back side with my Rust-Oleum white linen chalk paint. And then on the other side, I'm going to take the contact paper and I just cut out a square that's bigger than the butterfly. And I'm just going to press it on and kind of roll off the paper as I go. That way I don't get any bubbles. And then I'm going to take my brayer that I got at Amazon and I'm going to use that to flatten the whole surface, and then I'm going to take a utility knife and cut around all the edges just to make sure there aren't any little excess edges hanging over. I'm going to take my nail file and I'm just going to, in a downward motion, go all the way around, and that takes care of it. I'm going to take some little snips and I'm going to cut off, or actually just pull off, those extra pieces that made it a wind chime, and then I'm going to position what's left of it on top. I'm going going to slide a little piece of paper towel under each of the top wings. I want to paint those white. I know the orange and yellow is pretty, but for this I wanted it to be white. I'm going to dry it off with my heat tool from Amazon, and then I'm just going to carefully bend the wings in and kind of position them so they look like they're in motion more. And then I'm going to use my hot glue because this is very light, doesn't require more, but of course you can use something more heavy duty like E6000 if you want. And then I'm just going to place it right on top of the other butterfly. Now this piece is going to go on a sign, and I'm going to use this Dollar Tree decal and this Halloween sign. I had it from Dollar Tree a long time ago. I'm going to remove that ghost on the front, and we're actually going to make the back the front now. I'm going to paint it in my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and I'm going to do kind of a rough coat because I want this to look distressed. And once it is all painted, I'm going to, just kind of go up and down so it looks like it has some wood grain lines in it. Then I'm going to take my square ruler and draw some shiplap lines. First, I'm going to cut out the Be Humble portion of this decal because that's what I want for this one. I look at butterflies as they're just so beautiful, but they're not aware of their beauty because they start off as, caterpillars. So Be Humble seems like it goes perfectly with that. And here I am drawing my shiplap lines with pencil. And I learned this technique from my friends Kay and Trish at the Crafting Cousins. I'll link them down below. And what you do is you get your hands wet and then you just kind of smudge the pencil mark. Now, if you over smudge, that's really okay. I wipe away the excess of the water, and when it's all done, I'm going to go back with my white chalk paint and a very chippy brush, and I'm just going to go over it till it looks like the way I want it to. And I can always add more pencil if I want and do the paint and just kind of go back and forth till it looks just the way I want it to. And now I'm going to take that chippy brush and just do the dry brushing. And that's where you just put a little bit on your brush. You wipe most of it off. That's what I have that little paper there for. And then you go back over, and that way you don't over paint. But I want it to look old and distressed, and this really gives that look. Then I'm going to take my sanding sponge. I'm just going to lightly go over those lines so that there isn't like kind of raised up portions from the paint since I went over it again. I just want it to be smooth. Now that it is, I'm going to take care of the back. I'm going to cover it with some craft paper. So I'm just going to cut a piece. I had a little wrinkled piece that I had already torn off. I figured why not use it? It doesn't really matter. So I'll get it closer to the size, and then I'll just go ahead and hot glue it directly on, and then I cut away the excess. I find that it's so much easier to do it this way than to try to cut the exact shape. And then I just take my little scissors and I'll just go around. Now I don't want to lose my hole, so I'm just going to take a pencil and poke right through, and that way it'll go through the paper and I can go ahead and put the hanger back in. And then I decided to take the side of my pencil and just kind of go around the edges. Now I am going to change, this is the original twine that came with it, but I'm going to change it to some white twine that I have from the Dollar Tree. So right now I'm just figuring out where am I going to put the butterfly and where am I going to put the decal. So I think I like where I've got it. I'm going to go ahead and peel off the decal. It is sticky. So I'll go ahead and just set that on there right where I want it. I don't need to put Mod Podge for this. And this is going to be an inside sign, and so I'm actually not even going to put Mod Podge over the whole thing. You absolutely can if that's something you like to do. And then I'm going to take my E6000 and I'm going to put that kind of around the back of the butterfly, and then in the middle of that I'll add some hot glue. That way it'll stick right away so I can keep working if I need to. And then I'm going to take my butterfly and I'm going to put it at a slight diagonal up on the top left. And then I'm going to take that white string that I had and attach that. This was so inexpensive, basically $4 plus paint and things like that. And I bought all these things before the price of the Dollar Tree went up. And I hope you guys like it. With my spring theme, but also keeping in mind my pets, I am making this gorgeous spring door hanger that acknowledges my pets. I've got this little wood round from the Target Dollar Spot. I'm going to actually use a different burlap than the one you see there, and also some other buffalo check ribbon and florals from the Dollar Tree. I'm using my burnt umber apple barrel paint. I'm going to mix it with a little water to make a stain. I'm going to take some painter's tape and I'm going to tape off a top section and a bottom section, protecting the middle for something else. I'm just going to use a foam brush to apply apply my homemade stain, wipe the excess off. I'm going to do it 3 times till I get the right color. I don't want it too dark, but I also don't want it too light. When I'm happy with the color of the stain, I'm going to remove the tape and then reposition it because I'm going to paint that center area with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I'm going to do several coats. I'm just going to kind of dab it around the tape because I don't want it to bleed. And then I'm going to do the sides also where the white is. And now I love that. Removing the tape, it's so satisfying. Perfect straight lines. Gotta love it. Next, I'm going to take my sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to lightly sand over the white because I want it to be smooth, and then I'm going to put a top coat of my polyacrylic protective finish. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my hanger on there. I'm using a little bit of a thicker twine than was on there before, and I'm going to put the knots in the front. And I'm using my bow maker. I don't really need to for this, but because I'm just making loops back and forth, but I'm going to do 3 different sizes, so I wanted to move the pegs in order to give me those 3 sizes very quickly and easily. So that's all. And once I have all of them, I'm just going to make a little slit on each side, and then I'm going to tie some twine around the center, and then I'm going to tie them all together and start fluffing my bow. I'll be the first to tell you that I am not an expert at bow making, but I am learning more and more, so I'll just do my very best. That's all I can do. I'm going to dovetail all of the ends where you just fold it in half and then cut from the bottom going upward, and you get a really cute little tuxedo tail. And then I'm going to take some cardboard. I'm using a little Tumbling Tower block as a guide to draw a little dog bone. And then I'm going to just cut out like 4 pieces of cardboard that fit the middle of the bone just to make it thicker. I'm going to hot glue them together and then to paint it with the Warm Buff color by Apple Barrel, and just take my jot marker and write the word dogs. And for the O, I'm going to make a little pot. I'm going to use Mod Podge over the top of that, and then I'm going to write on it. That's going to go right in the center of my bow, and that's how I'm going to hot glue it right there. And I just thought that would be so cute on this. To attach the bow to the wood round, I'm just going to pick it up. I've already got it positioned. I'm going to put hot glue under various places just to hold it down, and that's going to work just perfect. I can also put the little loops wherever I want them by doing that, and that holds them perfectly. I'm going to take my greenery from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to snip off the little stems. That way I can place them wherever I want around the top portion of this wood round. You see I've just got them set in there. Once I have them where I want them, I'm going to put hot glue on the ends and then stick them in, push it down and make sure that it adheres. And there it is. I love the way that looks. Now I'm transferring them to the middle of the wood round. It came out so cute. And yes, I noticed that the little piece of the pot was missing after I put it on there. So I went and found it on the vinyl that I had weeded out. And by the way, no paws were injured in the making of this video. And I fixed it. Thank God I found it, or else I would have had to reprint it. That was my bad. I love this one, and it was so simple to make. I hope you guys like it too. About this DIY. I've got these napkins from the Dollar Tree, these 2 little flower wood cutouts, and some rope from Walmart and Mod Podge. I end up not using the rope, but you'll see what I'm going to use later. So I'm just going to give them a quick sand, make sure the surface is nice and smooth. These are 2-ply napkins, which means you have to remove 1 ply. So if it's a 3-ply, you have to remove 2 plies because what you want is just that top piece that has the print on it. If you love doing decoupage, I have a mega video with just that, and I will link it down below. I know you will really enjoy it. Once I get 2 napkins separated from the extra ply, and I save that extra ply just to wipe things up later, you know, I never waste anything. I'm going to put my Mod Podge all over the top, and not lumpy though, like I try to flatten it out as much as possible. And then I'm going to carefully start in the middle and lay down my napkin and work from the middle out. And I do have to reposition it once because that happens sometimes. They're so thin, but be really careful. I normally put saran wrap down and then try to smooth it out, but I didn't have any handy, and I would recommend that. I'm going to dry it with my heat tool from Amazon. Then I'm going to take a nail file. I love this trick. Only going in a downward motion, go all the way around the sides gently, and it comes off perfectly. I just love it, but make sure it's dry. Don't do it wet. I need to drill a couple holes, or 4 holes in these. And so what I'm going to do is lay them on top of each other the exact same way, clamp them together, and then I'm going to use a little piece of craft paper on top so that I don't make a big mess. I'm going to drill the hole. And I'm going to make 4 holes total. I'm done with that now, and I'm going to just go ahead and lay some Mod Podge right over the top. I'm doing that because I want to do some dry brushing. There I am with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, just very lightly dry brush because I didn't want it to be so vibrant. And then I'm going to go around all the edges with the white, and I actually am going to paint the back white as well. And then I'm going to just lightly sand the back so it's smooth. Now I do seal the whole thing when I'm done with my polyacrylic protective finish. I decided that I wanted the edges to be a little bit distressed, so I used my burnt umber acrylic paint from Walmart, and I just used a little makeup sponge, and I went around the edges and I cleaned up any excess with a little wet paper towel. It's really not necessary to distress the edges. I just decided to do it. I'm not sure it added anything in the end. Got this little needle that I'm going to use. Actually, it's a big needle. And this is the twine I'm going to use. It's white twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to put it through one side on the bottom and then the other so that you'll see in a minute what it's going to look like. So of the 4 holes, there'll be one going across to the one next to it and then another one going across to that one. So basically I doubled up the twine, and there you have now 4 pieces are sticking out, but it's really 8 because they're doubled up. Now I'm going to put some beads there because I want this to be able to stay stiff. I don't want the top one to fall down. I just thought these beads would look so pretty, and I left them unfinished. I end up putting 6 beads under each one. So that's 6 times 4. And I got my beads on Amazon. That's the best deal I've ever found. And then I added 1 bead on the top, and I am going to get all of the strands, and I have to thread them through like 2 pieces at a time. And then I get 1 bead at the top. And I'm going to tie a knot right over that after I put the level to make sure that when it's hanging, it is going to be level. When I just did the knot, it was really hard to get it level. So by putting the bead there and holding that in place, that made it more even. I'm going to secure the top bead on each corner there, and then the bottom one on the bottom piece. I've got this hanger that broke, and I've got the metal part of it, and I just put it through the knot and into the hole of that bead and twisted it in, and it kind of screwed right in. And then I'm securing it with hot glue, and I'm going to then wrap that excess twine all the way around and make it look like it's really attached. But then I still don't like the way it looks, so I take another piece of twine and I just wrap it around the whole thing and kind of cover up the imperfections, and then go up a little higher on the hanger. And if that doesn't make sense, you will see what I'm doing and it will make more sense. It kind of cleans it up a little bit and makes it even more secure. I love this one. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys like it. Super easy. This definitely cost me under $5, and a lot of the stuff I had on hand, so that helped a lot. And I love that I was able to craft my stash to make this. I've really challenged myself to do that for many months ahead because I've got too much stuff. Do you guys have that same problem? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to use some florals from the Dollar Tree, not that one as it turns out. Part of this decal, a pretty spring napkin, a little jar, and a picture, all from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to open it up and take out the glass and the backing. I'm not going to need the glass at all for this. I am going to need the backing, and I'll use that momentarily. And then I'm going to also use that contact paper. I forgot to mention that. I'm going to separate the 1-ply that's on the napkin because it's a 2-ply napkin. Of course, you got to remove that. And then I'm going to figure out how much I need because I want to decoupage the picture frame with that napkin. It's going to be so pretty. So I'm just going to cut out some strips that will be long enough and wide enough to get around the entire frame. And I measured everything. And I will have to piece it together, but no big deal because it's a busy pattern, you won't notice. And now I've got my Mod Podge. I'm going to apply it to the front, the side, a little bit of the back, and a little bit of the inside front. And just carefully lay that down in pieces and then just, pat it down. And then I'm going to continue. I'm just going to show you one side because then you'll know how to do the rest. And once I get that on, I'll go ahead and lay some Mod Podge right over the top of it. And I'm going to dry each section between application. Now I'm going to turn it over and apply Mod Podge all to the front there, and then lay that down and press it into the frame gently so I don't tear anything. The napkin starts to get wet from the Mod Podge, so you have to be really careful. You see, I'm just tapping it lightly, not pushing hard or anything. I don't want to rip it. And then I'm going to have to cut a little slit in the corners to make it fold under because it doesn't go up straight, obviously. I'm going to do that with the outside corners as well at an angle. another slit across this one and cut on the diagonal. Doesn't have to be perfect because Mod Podging is very forgiving when you have a busy pattern like this. And besties, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor and hit the like button. And then I'm going to cut off the excess and just make sure that everything is covered in Mod Podge now and laying down flat. And I'm drying it again. And then I'm going to, once it's dry, I can slightly just rip that napkin right off the edge. See, I'm doing it so carefully, little pieces by pieces. And that way it'll be a nice clean edge. And actually that's on the back. You wouldn't see it anyway, but I still tried to make it look nice. So there's one whole side done. And now the entire frame is done. I just think it's so, so pretty. Now I'm going to take that piece that's the backing of what was in there originally, and I'm going to lay it on top of this contact paper, and I'm going to cut out, roughly that size. Again, it doesn't have to be exact because we will trim it. I'm just kind of looking at it, making sure that I have enough, and I do. Then I'm going to take some cardboard, and I had to piece them together with tape that is the right size, and I'm going to go ahead and lay down the contact paper. I always start at one end and only reveal a little bit of the paper, and then as I slide the backing out, I rub it so that I don't get any bubbles or, any creases. I'm going to use my brayer to make it nice and flat against the surface. And then I'm going to take my little teeny scissors and I'm just going to cut around all four sides. Now I'm going to take my decal and I'm going to cut off that little extra embellishment on the side of the L because I don't really need it and it makes it too big. And I'm just figuring out where I'm going to position it. I'm going to take my little glass jar, put a little bit of that glue on it, and I've got this pretty green ribbon and I'm going to wrap it all the way around and secure it with glue. Now I'm going to go through all my little flower scraps that I have and I'm just going to piece some really pretty colors together that I think will look good with that frame. So I'm going to get the backing in the frame, nice and secure, and then the actual backing. So the piece I did and then the backing, I'm going to push down the little tabs, make sure it's in there. Then I'm going to remove the decal from the backing and I'm going to apply it where I would like it to be, right on the contact paper. And you can see it kind of started sticking, but it comes right up because it's just a contact paper. It's a nice smooth surface, so it doesn't take any of it with it, and I can reposition it and fix it. And you just press that down. Now I decided I want to add some more ribbon around this because you can see the little ends of the flowers. So I did that. I secured the flowers in with a dab of hot glue, and now I am putting the little glass jar on the picture with some hot glue, and I think it's super, super cute. Now I want to add a little flower and a butterfly, and I'm going to just put those in individually with hot glue just to give it a little more color and fullness. Now I want to put a hanger on. I probably should have done that first. I always forget that. Do you ever forget to put your hanger on until afterwards? Please tell me I'm not the only one. So I'm going to put it on with hot glue. It's just a piece of rope. I'm going to cut those little edges, and then I'm going to take a piece of masking tape. I like to do this to secure the pictures. I actually got that tip from Holly at Hot Humble Pie. I love that idea, and you just go ahead and glue it down, and it really, really is secure now. That thing isn't going anywhere. So I'll put Holly's link down below in case you want to check her out. She's awesome. And now I felt like it was too bright, compared to everything else that I have, so I just whitewashed it with my white chalk paint. You guys, I love this so much. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, and it's so spring-like. And it was under $5 to make. This mason jar shape from the Dollar Tree, the contact paper that I love, a little piece of faux leather ribbon from the Dollar Tree, a little flower shape from Dollar Tree, and then I've got these little butterflies that I ordered online. It's going to take a lot of heat from my heat tool and a lot of scraping to get that felt flower leaf stuff off, which I finally did. I sanded it too. Now I'm going to put a coat of the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint on it, and then I'm going to dry that off, and I'm going to paint the entire thing. And I'm going to sand it down just to make it nice and smooth. Then I'm going to take my contact paper and I'm going to put a piece on each side just below the threads of the jar top. And I'm just going to put the top on there and then slowly pull the backing out. That way I don't get any bubbles or anything. And I'm going to smooth it out with my brayer, which is also from Amazon. I'm going to use a little utility knife and cut the excess off. And there you have it, both sides now. And I did sand around the edges too. I'm going to use my bright yellow apple barrel acrylic paint for one of the butterflies. And then I'm going to use my Arteza paint markers for the other two. And I believe this one is fuchsia. I hope I'm remembering correctly. And then the next one is bright orange. Now for this little flower, I started off with the linen white paint, and then I started using like a pink and a yellow, and I decided I didn't like it. So then I brought out this aqua color by Folk Art. I started kind of mixing that in while the paint was still wet. Still didn't quite give me what I was looking for. Eventually I brought out my agave chalk paint by Waverly, and that was, it's just a more pigmented color. And then I really started dry brushing over the edges, and then doing a lot more than dry brushing, even more, added a little more yellow, and then some white in the center. Anyway, I finally got it the way I liked it. I kind of just tapped it a little with my paper towel just to blur that white a little bit. But I think it's good now. And then I decided that the colors on the butterflies were too bright, so I put a little white over them just to kind of whitewash them. And that toned them down, and then it looked really good together. Now I'm going to place the flower kind of to the bottom left. And I'll use some hot glue to put that on there. That's all it needs. It's super, super light. And then I will attach all three of the butterflies in just, random places on the mason jar. And I think they just look so, so cute. Now I'm going to take that faux leather ribbon from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to cut it down the middle, not exactly down the middle, but I want a thinner piece because when I looked to see that thread area, it was too wide. So I'm just going to hot glue very carefully so it doesn't get bumpy, in a couple of places as you go all the way around. But now the problem is I wasn't thinking I was going to leave it white, and now you can't see that faux leather. I thought, okay, I'm going to use something else that brings a little color into it. So once I get this guy attached here, I'm going to take some yellow and white twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to hot glue that around those threads using this tacky glue. I just got it and I wanted to try it out. It's supposed to set up a little faster than regular glue, and it does. I wish it was still faster, but you know what? It's better than using just regular glue, so I'll give it that. And I'm going to do these right at the top of the contact paper and then around the little threads. But now you still can't see the white faux leather, so I'm going to dry brush some of that agave on between the yellow and white twine and over the top and on the sides. And I think that helps bring out the white faux leather. You guys, I love this one. You have to tell me what you think. I just love the color so, so much. This was definitely under $5, probably between $3 and $4. What a deal. Tree hack, I'm going to take this tin planter that I got at the Goodwill for $3. You find these every time you go. I'm going to use my crud cutter and clean it up real good, and then my heat tool to get off the price tag, and then also I need to use some rubbing alcohol to get off the other price. I'm going to use some painter's tape and diagonally tape from one corner to the other, and I'm going to do 2 coats of my white Rust-Oleum linen or linen white chalk paint. I always say that wrong. Anyway, and then when I'm near the tape, I'm going to paint away from it. So not towards it, but from the tape across. That way I won't have any bleeding. And then I'm going to dry each section off after each coat. And then I'm going to do it to the next corner. And this one, they'll be like touching. The 2 sides will be touching. And then when I do the other 2 sides, they will be touching. So it'll be kind of like, I don't know, kind of opposing corners, if you will. See, there you go. Now the most satisfying part of all, we are going to pull the tape off. And I was very happy with my lines. I feel like they came out really, really good. So that worked out great. I really didn't end up doing any touch up. I mean, there's a little drop there, but I ended up not even bothering with it because it wasn't noticeable. So now that I have these nice crisp lines and my planter is painted just the way I want, I'm going to take my Dollar Tree rub-on transfers, these gorgeous little green ones with the leaves, and I had 2 of each kind that were big like that, so I just cut them up and I'm just going to position them. I'm going to rub them on and check and then carefully pull them off. I did speed this up a little so you don't have to watch me scrape every single one, but I want you to see how the process goes. So here's the next side, and I kind of alternate between the 2 kind of leaves that I cut out. And look at that, it's so pretty, so simple. I didn't need to overdo it. And there's my other two corners that are right next to each other. And I'm going to go ahead and do the two different pieces again. And I'm just using a little wooden stick this time. It had a better point on it, so I thought it was going to maybe go a little bit faster, and it did. I was so inspired by my friend Leonette. She has a channel called DIY Beauty on Purpose, and let me tell you, she knows how to do things that are so beautiful and simple, and she knows when to stop. And she's helped me so much, so thanks, Leonette. I'll put her link in my description box. You really should check her out. And then I'm going to put some styrofoam that I cut up. It was just from packing, a packing box. And then I'm going to put 3 gorgeous peonies. And I think I got this little bouquet of different flowers at Hobby Lobby on sale. And it also had these really pretty purple flowers with the little green buds. And I'm going to put those in the 4 corners. And then I'm going to use my eucalyptus as filler and a couple other leaves I just had in my stash. So I've learned that you want a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. So the peonies were my thriller. The purple flowers with the long branches were my spiller, and the eucalyptus was my filler, and it just turned out gorgeous. I gotta tell you, this is my favorite flower arrangement that I've ever done, and I absolutely love it. The colors are so vibrant. This was so easy to make. I mean, I thought I was gonna have to put moss in there to cover the white styrofoam. With all the filler, I didn't have to. So let me know what you think about this one. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Excited. I've received this cute unfinished kit. It's called the Hello Spring DIY kit from my really good friend Rebecca at Home with Rebecca Jane. She makes these kits and she sells them at craft shows, on a website, you name it. And I've been dying to do one of these, so she sent me one and I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be putting mine in a tiered tray. So let's start with my chalked paint from Rust-Oleum, the linen white. I'm going to paint all these pieces white and dry them with my heat tool from Amazon. I'm using paler colors, so putting the white behind really helps. I'm going to start with this folk art paint, Seashell Pink. It's really a lovely, just gorgeous pale pink, and it's an acrylic paint. And I did all of the tulips in that color. And then I'm going to use the Celery Chalk Paint by Waverly, and I'm going to do all of the leaves below. Now I'm going to do some shading and contouring type of stuff on these after the fact. Assembling my little fence post there. I'm going to use the Burnt Umber paint by Apple Barrel, and I'm just going to put it all over the top of this little like medallion round sign. And it says fresh cut tulips, and then there's 2 little numbers that say 25 and then cents. And I'm just going to use a very fine tip black marker to fill in the fresh cut tulips so that you can still read it. Now here's a little tip. Take some tape. I'm using painter's tape. Just fold the sides onto your mat or your table, and then put your little letters on there or your little pieces, and it makes it so much easier to paint them. I painted those in the white, and now I'm just going to use my Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to put the letters right on there. And I'm going to also use that glue and attach my tulips right to the fence, and then I will attach my little fence crossbars or whatever they are right on the front. I just think this is so adorable. I feel like I'm working with miniatures, and it's so fun. It's a lot of assembly and painting, and it was actually super relaxing. I couldn't believe I felt myself actually relaxed. You guys, I need to tell you, I'm not the most relaxed person. So if doing this made me feel relaxed, that's a good thing. And now I'm going to take another pen that's in a darker pink and do a little bit of my shading. And I'm just going to kind of accentuate some of the lines that are there already. And then after I do that, I'm going to take a little brush, add a little water to it, tap it off a little, and I'm going to blur those lines. And that makes it look so much softer and nicer. So I'm kind of doing that in the little top of the tulips right now. And there I go. And do you see what that does? It creates like a shading effect, and it makes it look almost 3D. So I decided to take a darker green pen and do the same thing on my leaves. Now going forward, you're going to see me do this on other flowers and other things. I'm not going to describe it every time, but that's what I'm doing. And then I put a little bit on the stem. And you guys, I just think this looks beautiful. I'm adding a little at the base for contouring now of the tulips, and it really looks like they're 3-dimensional in that way. So that was a lot of fun to play with. I did the back too, because I'm just funny that way about doing the back. I'm going to take my burnt umber and a little makeup sponge, and I've got some water on the sponge, and I'm just going to very lightly distress this fence. Only the fence, because that's the only part that in my imagination would be worn. Like the tulips, you know, they're not worn out, they just grew fresh. I love how this little piece turned out. I'm so excited for the next one. moving on to another piece, which is a little truck. And this is a Tulip Farms truck. Could this not be cuter? And I'm using another folk art paint in the color of Blue Lullaby, Seashell Pink again, and also in the color of Daybreak. I'm going to use the Celery Chalk Paint again by Waverly. I'm going to be using these same colors over and over. I won't keep repeating it. You'll see me hold them up. But just so you know, this is the color scheme I decided to go with. And again, I'm going to use my chalked white linen paint, or linen white paint, I always say that backwards, by Rust-Oleum. And I'm doing that because I'm using these light colors. And now when I'm using some of the greens that are darker, then I don't need to do that. Oh, the other colors I didn't, like this Nimbus, which is like a silvery color. I didn't do it on these because that's a bumper and it's such a small little piece, so I didn't feel like I needed to do that. I also took a black marker and I did the tires. I forgot to film that. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the Tulip license plate and the crossbar for the back of the truck. I also did a little of that shading and contouring on the truck to show you where the back of it was, because I wanted it to feel a little more 3D, because it's just a flat piece, but supposedly there's a bed to that truck, so I just did that for the fun of it. Also, I colored in the side view mirrors, I guess, and the lights. I put some white in there. Now that I did the burnt umber on the license plate and that other little wood bar, I'm going to use my tacky glue and attach them. And I also went into the words Tulip Farms and I used my black fine point pen and just to accentuate those as well, so you could see them for sure. Next is the bumper, which I will attach right now. And then I'm moving on to the little back of the truck bed. That's wood. And then I'm going to just glue those 3 tulips right on there. And since I made the truck the pretty blue, I decided to make each tulip a different color. I love that piece. It's just super, super adorable. Now we're moving on to the Hello Spring sign, and I'm going to try something different. I've got this beautiful scrapbook paper that I ordered on Amazon, and I'm just going to figure out what part of it I want to be on the backing of this sign. So I'm just going to trace around it and cut that piece out. I know this is kind of a different thing to do, but I thought it would just be beautiful. I'm going to use my Jot glue stick for this, just cover the entire piece of scrapbook paper, and then I'm going to apply it to the backing. And I'm going to use my brayer that I got from Amazon to roll out any bubbles and make sure it makes perfect contact. Then I'm going to take a little nail file and just in a downward motion go all the way around the sides and get any excess paper off. You see how it's just kind of loosening? You just got to go in one direction only, and that's down, and not too hard and not too rough of a sandpaper type thing. So I'm just using like a medium grit for this. And you'll notice it's just slowly coming away from the side, and there it is, and that's how nice and clean it comes off. And now I'm going to take some white apple barrel paint. I'm just going to paint the back side and then sand it down a little. I actually end up painting a different color later. This is the one where I change like the color so many times my head's spinning. I'm going to put a little Mod Podge over the top of that backing, the scrapbook paper, to protect it. Now I am painting all of this white first, like I did with the other pieces, and then I'm going to take some tape and do my little trick where I put the letters on it so that it stays in place while I'm painting it. So I'm going to start off with white again on the letters. Now the letters get changed too. So I started off with the letters one color, then picked another one. I'm going to do several of the little flowers in the blue, and I'm going to do some in pink and some in yellow. And I start off with the greenery and the celery. I do end up going in and making that darker but leaving the sides lighter, which is kind of cool. I'm adding a little bit of the yellow flowers. And then I started off with yellow on the hello sign. I end up changing that to a darker green later. And now I'm just adding the pink for the couple of pink flowers that I want. That's the one thing in this that did not change. Now here's the fern color by Waverly. It's a chalk paint, and it looks so much like the color in the scrapbook paper that I decided, okay, I'm going to do the border of that top piece. Then I decided to go in and do the word spring, which I also changed, and that's going to become yellow. Now I'm doing the very back of that backing piece, so the other side of this is the scrapbook paper, and I really do love that deeper green. It's the only place where I'm really doing that, and I just think it's beautiful with the scrapbook paper. You see now I've changed the word spring to yellow, and I've changed the word hello to the darker green. I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm just going to apply it around the edges and over the bigger pieces, and then I will turn it around and place it right on top of the backing, and I think this piece came out gorgeous. So unusual to have the scrapbook paper there, but I just really love it. Wanted to try something different, and I think it worked. At least that's what I think. You'll have to let me know if you like it that way. And now I'm just adding the word hello to the top, and then this one will be done. Now don't forget, stay all the way to the end so you can see the big reveal of the entire tiered tray. I can't wait to show. This one is such a fun piece. It's just this little round kind of wood plank piece that says Fresh Flower Market. And then it's got these adorable little flowers in the middle and a little bit of greenery. So I'm going to paint the whole thing with my white chalk paint like I have on the other ones just to have a nice base. And I'm going to do the back as well. I'm also going to take a little ruler and I'm going to try to match up those shiplap type lines that are on the front, put them on the back. And I'm also going to go in with a very fine point pen and darken them so you can see them and then blur them a little bit. So now I'm going to put my greenery onto a piece of tape and I'm going to use the celery color to go ahead and paint those two. Now I didn't put the white under those. I think they're just so small it didn't matter. But I am going to put the white under all the flowers because I want those colors to shine a little more, to be a little more vibrant, and that's what that will do. And so I'm going to have some pink and yellow and blue flowers. I'm going to mix and match the centers and the outside petals with the 3 different colors so that it'll just look really pretty and festive and match. And then I'm going to do some shading and contouring with my little fine tip pens and then blur them with a little water on a brush like I did before. And I just love the way that looks. Just kind of showing you up close what they all look like when they're done. I'm going to take my letters and I'm going to use that fern color, the darker green. I think that's going to look really pretty against the white shiplap. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to recreate on the back how it looks on the front. And like I said, I'm just going to tilt it sideways and see where each of those lines are, and then take my pen and I'm just going to kind of draw where the lines are so that I know where to hook them up when I turn it over. And it really does turn out nice. Now, since this is going to be on a tiered tray, you could actually see the back of these, and that's why I wanted to make sure they were all finished. And I do that anyway just because I like my backs finished. But, you know, if there's a chance of somebody seeing them, I definitely feel pretty strongly about that. And now that everything is done, I'm going to use my tacky glue and I'm just going to attach the words where they were kind of marked out. I can still see it through the paint. And then I'm going to attach my flowers and kind of arrange them. There's so many different ways you can arrange them, but do whatever you like, whatever, you know, makes you happy. And that's what I did. I've seen it where you put the greenery under the flowers in the middle, and I decided to fill in my little gaps on the sides. And I just tried to arrange my flowers so that different colors were kind of in different places, so it just would look really pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of the burnt umber on with a little makeup sponge and just kind of distress around the edges and a little bit around the back. Just want to make it look similar to the other one that had the white shiplap background. And I am very happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys like it, and be sure to stick around because we are getting really close to it. And now for the last ones, I've got these 2 tulips in the pots and then the little spring banner. And I'm going to use the same paint colors I've been using all along, but with the spring banner, I'm going to do something a little different, which I'll show you in a second. I painted everything white like I did before, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start using the different colors to start painting, you know, all the different pieces that I need to do. I'm going to use this napkin I got at the Dollar Tree. I've already taken the ply off. It's a 2-ply. I painted every other one of the banner pieces in the pink, and now I'm just going to put Mod Podge on the other pieces and lay them down on top of my napkin. And I'm only doing it this way because they're so small, so I can manage it together. And then I'm going to cut them off and then do the same thing with that back side so that both sides have the really cute napkin on them. I'm just going to rub it down with my fingers because it's so small. Then I'm going to trim the edges so I don't have so much to work with. And then I take a nail file, and I've done this before in this video, and I just go in a downward motion very gently all around the sides, and then the napkin just spreads apart. Now you want to wait till everything's dry to do that, which it is now. And it just looks so cute like this, making sure all the edges are nice and clean. Then I'm going to take a little skewer stick and just kind of poke back through the holes right through the napkin, which is no big deal because I will be putting this on a string. I'm going to take the word spring and I'm going to put it on a piece of tape and paint it in the yellow. And then I'm going to use my tacky glue and put each of the letters right in the middle of the little banner pieces. And I think this is looking really, really cute and very spring-like. I just love it. I wanted to do something different. So that's why I did the scrapbook paper in the one and now the napkin in the other. I think that just kind of mixes it up a little. Got this baker's twine from the Dollar Tree in yellow and white, which I thought was perfect. And I'm just going to feed it through the holes through all of these little pieces, and then I will have my little banner. And I absolutely love this one. So, so cute. So many different ways you can do this. And now we're going to move on to the tulips. I'm going to paint the little pots in the yellow. And then I'm going to have one tulip be pink and one of them be blue. And then of course I'll paint the leaves in the celery color like I did before, and I will contour and, you know, accent them a little. I also made a little design on the brim, I guess, or whatever you call that, on the little pots with a marker. And these two are done. And now the final reveal. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this one. Just look how sweet it is. I added some greenery, a little bit of floral, a bunny or two, added a little pig, got a little house. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just absolutely love how this turned out. I want to get more. Oh my gosh, so cute. And what a great idea to give as gifts, or someone who doesn't consider themselves like creative enough to draw something. They're already made. All you have to do is paint them and glue them together. I am thinking I might buy some of these as gifts actually, because I enjoyed it so much. I know other people will. I hope you love them too. Dollar Tree mirror. I'm going to go ahead and paint it in that Kills primer and cover up the center, so again you won't see lights or my really serious thinking face. I'm going to do about a coat and a half just so you can see a little bit of the silver through it. You know, it did occur to me afterwards I could have spray painted this outside. It might have been a really cold snowy day when I did it, so that might be why I didn't, but anyway, just an option for you. And there it is. I think it looks really nice. Now, I did a pretty good job. I didn't make it super covered because you're not going to see a whole lot of it, and this way it looks a little distressed. I've got this little basket of just extra greenery and flowers and stuff that gets cut off of things that I don't use. So I'm taking some greenery and I'm kind of positioning it the way I want it around. I kind of wanted it to almost look like a little garden lattice, you know, where there's some vines on it. And then I'm going to take some floral wire that I got at Hobby Lobby and I'm going to attach it. And then I'm going to use these gorgeous purple flowers. I feel like they came off the hydrangea pick that I had. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know somebody else out there knows this better than I do. I don't know the name of flowers very well. There's the floral wire that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to cut little pieces and then kind of position my greenery and my florals and come in from around the back and then go back through to the back and twist it around real tight and then snip off any ends and tuck them in. And I'm just going to do that to the whole thing and arrange it just the way I like it. You could do this any way you want with any greenery, any florals, whatever you like. It's really up to you. You could cover the whole thing, or you could do what I did where it's just sort of viney around and still you can see some of the white. And I just really love that look. It's almost like making a wreath out of this, but we're still going to have the mirror in the middle. So it's just an attractive little wall hanging that has a mirror in it, and it looks very fresh and spring-like and just gardeny, which I really like. Gardeny? Really? Did I just make up a word? And I love those purple flowers. They're almost lavender. My favorite color is purple, so you'll probably see a lot of that in general on my channel because it sneaks in there all the time. I just can't help myself. I love it so much. Half the time I'm wearing a purple shirt too. So, and my water bottle, if you ever see that, it's purple too. Anyway, isn't that pretty? I think it just came out so pretty. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and kind of tack down any really wild ends that didn't lay the way I wanted. And you know, that's just an easy way to kind of manipulate it and make it look just the way you like. And then I'll take out the center and this one will be done. And I just love it so much. You'll have to tell me what you think. And would you ever try something like this with a Dollar Tree mirror? Tree mirror, I'm going to use some corks. I have quite a few of them. They were gifted to me by my stepdaughter, and I am so excited. I'm going to take this mirror, I'm going to cover the center again, and I'm going to go outside and spray paint it with some matte black paint, and I'm going to make sure that that is covered pretty well. I just used a box so it didn't get all over everything. It was kind of windy actually. And I'm going to use some flowers from just a little stash I have of extra little pieces. I'm going to take all the lavender ones I can find. I love lavender, you guys. It's my favorite. Oh, and by the way, it's purple. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to take this little teeny scissors I have, and I'm just going to stab holes in the middle of the corks and see if I can stick that lavender in there. And once I know that I can, then I can actually use hot glue to attach it into the hole of the cork, and that way it'll be very secure. I'm going to do that with all of them. Now I have enough of the darker lavender and the one with white to do every other one as I go around the mirror, and I just figured out where those little kind of square ends are that stick out. I'll put one there. It'll start like where the mirror is and set it down, and then hot glue it in 2 spots straight out. And honestly, if you're concerned about the corks moving, I would definitely use something more adhesive like E6000 or super glue. Now I'm going to add some greenery. It's just a little bit of like boxwood that I had left over from a Dollar Tree pick, and just put it all around until I liked the way it looked. This is going to be such a cool centerpiece. You could put a candle in it, a bottle of wine in the middle, or just leave it as it is. What do you think? Bowl hack. I'm going to use this candle from the Dollar Tree. These 3 flowers I took off a pick from the Dollar Tree, and then this was from a pick I got at Walmart, and these are also from the Dollar Tree. I don't end up using those little pink kind of berry ones. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum chalked linen white paint, and I'm just going to take one bowl and I'm going to paint the entire outside. And I will do several coats because I want to make sure that it's very solid. I'm going to dry it with my heat tool that I got from Amazon. That thing is a lifesaver. And then I'm going to use some Mod Podge and cover the entire bowl. I just want to seal in that paint. Mostly because I am going to be resting the glass candle holder. Now I'm going to take a little bit of twine and some Beacon fabric tack glue, and I'm just going to put it all around the it's the top edge of the bowl, but for this particular DIY or hack, it is going to be the very bottom. And just going to put that around the entire edge. I'm going to start snipping off the little, like the leaves with the yellow kind of flowers on them, because that's the only part I'm going to use of that pick. And then I'm going to take those little pieces I cut off of a Walmart pick, and I'm going to turn the bowl upside down. Well, actually, in this case, right side up. And I'm just going to hot glue one piece at a time right on there and just kind of hold it till it sticks. I'm going to overlap them because I want that to be a really nice kind of coverage going all around the bowl. It's going to look like a little wreath or a centerpiece in this case, but it'll definitely have that wreath look. And I'm just loving how this is already starting to look. And there we go. All of those are on. I do fill in a couple gaps here and there. And once I do, I'm going to take some hot glue and some rope from Walmart, and I'm just going to put it all the way around, and that's going to help secure those pieces on not just the bottom, but over the bottom and the top of them, whichever way you're looking at it. But that's one of the reasons I put the rope around the bowl in the first place, was that so it would have something to glue it to. I don't think those plastic bowls would be enough to just put those little picks on. Then I'm going to take those little pieces with the little like yellow flowery parts on them, and I cut them up into very small little pieces. I'm going to put them one at a time. I'm just going to kind of put glue on the end and shove them right in between the other pieces, and they stand up a little bit, so it gives it a little bit of height and more texture. I'm going to take my little snips, and I'm just going to take any really pointy pieces from those little teeny picks and cut them off. The ones from the bigger leaf picks are just fine. They're kind of rounded. And there it is. It looks really pretty now. And then I'm going to take the 3 flowers that I have. I pulled off the leaves, so there's just a little point on them. And I'm going to put them around this centerpiece wreath, and then I'll put a little dab of hot glue on the other side where it pokes through, just to solidify that it's in there. I'll do the same with all 3 of these. And of course, those glue webs are driving me crazy. You have to tell me in the comments if they drive you crazy too. I've tried everything, the heat tool, a brush, you name it, they're still there. And there it is. I'm loving how it looks, and there's the candle on it. This was so easy. This Dollar Tree hack using these bowls, I'm actually going to use 2 of them. I'm going to take E6000 and my hot glue, and I'm going to attach them bottom to bottom. So first I'll put the E6000 on, and I will leave space to do the hot glue. I don't like them to touch if I can help it, because the E6000 cools down the hot glue too fast and then it doesn't work. So there we go. And I'm just going to attach them. And I was trying to line up the pattern. It wasn't as easy as I thought, because you know how it is at Dollar Tree. No 2 things are ever the same. I'm going to use my Rust-Oleum chalked linen white paint, and I'm going to cover this whole entire thing, including the top inside, because if I don't, the area where you see where I glued it will show. So I'm going to do one side, use my heat tool to dry it off from Amazon, and then I will do the other side. And I do some touch-ups, so it's not a full 2 coats, but it probably is almost 2 coats. I just love that bright white. It's so pretty. Of course, I am going to change that. And now I'm doing the inside so that you don't see that one part. You don't have to do it on the bottom too, just on the top. Then I'm going to go in with my elephant colored paint from Waverly. It's a very dark gray. And I'm going to use a very wide brush. I forget what those brushes are called. If anyone knows, please tell me in the comments, because I'm drawing a blank. And it's really good for this kind of distressing, because you just get a little bit on your brush and you're basically dry brushing, but it's like a fan. I think that's what it is, a fan brush. Anyway, I love the way it looks. And I am going to do the inside of the top. You won't really ever see the bottom, but I'm going to do the inside of the top too. And I love the way this is coming out. You guys, this is easy. Seriously. This is such a fast, easy DIY. I had a shoelace that we weren't using, so I cut off the little end and then I wrapped it around and got the right size. And I'm going to use my Beacon Fabric Tack glue to attach it all the way around the middle, and it's a perfect kind of garnish or trim for this project. And then I've got these ferns from the Dollar Tree, and I thought, why cut up 3 just to get the ends? I'll take 1, cut it into thirds, and then use my scissors and make it look like they're each ends by cutting it to a point. You'll see what I'm going to do right here. See that? So I just do that on the 2 that I cut off, and then of course the first one was already like that. Way to go. Now I've got 3 end pieces, and I only had to use 1 piece of the fern. And then I've got this gorgeous pink flower. Not sure what it is, but it's really pretty. It had yellow in the middle, so I wanted to add these little pieces that I had left over from Walmart pics. And I'm going to put 3 of those in there, and it just didn't look right sitting by itself. So I grabbed some Spanish moss that I had on hand, put it in there, and then I just set them in there. I didn't even glue it in case I want to change it out, and it's so pretty. How easy is this? That's it for today. I've got another video on the screen that I think you'll really like, so if you click on it, I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.